Hello, fellow followers. Welcome back to the Physical Media Show here on FanZcene Vids. And with me tonight is Tom and Runner. And let's see how long it takes for Runner realizes a little something as we get started here. But how you doing tonight?
I
he's
just
back.
got here in time.
I was hoping we'd get it.
We were so close.
This close. Missed it by that much.
Merry late Christmas, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still got the Christmas background up. But how you guys doing tonight?
We're hanging in there.
Yeah, me too.
All right, just got off work.
Yeah, it's been a rough couple days around here.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. So fun. At least this give me a little break, a little something to do. How's it, hope talk to you guys and talk some physical media. So that'll be fun. But let's say hi to the chat. So hi to everybody out there watching, everybody in chat. Heather Preston, hi, welcome. Carl's Art Universe, hello, how are you? Yes, Brandon Brad, it is that time again. And welcome Tim Hayes. And hello, Brian Barth. What is James Cameron's secret? Well, at one point in time, I would have said he was somebody who could connect with the fans and knew what they wanted. Nowadays, I'm not so sure about that. So I couldn't tell you.
Tim Hayes, though, is a guy who collects a lot of physical media. We should have him on one of these
days. We need to have Tim on one day. Bring back Tim and Steven, speaking of which, we'll have to have you back on here too.
Absolutely.
Definitely. You guys get on here and bring on some of your collection. Let us know what you got. But yes, welcome everybody in the chat. See Tim, Brian, and delete the things. Whoa, it jumped on me. The chat always gets you. Yeah, there you go, Runner. Just for you.
Oh, thanks, Brian.
Fuck your best way.
Fuck your best way. What's up, Stephen Luther and Papa Cotton? How you guys doing? Cool gamer. Welcome. Oh, Keely Chow. We have a Keely Chow in the audience. How you doing, Keely Chow? And I think that's everybody. If I missed you, I'm sorry because the chat jumped, but thank you all for being here. Hope you guys are in the mood for some physical media tonight, and got some Christmas leftovers and some hopefully new ones. So, yeah. But as far as like new upcoming releases, hello, Samurai Vader. Not much to talk about other than we are getting Face Off on 4K from Kino Lorber, which I'm excited about. Definitely. We're getting the Rocky 1 through 4 and Best Buy exclusive steelbooks, but Tom did not like the artwork on the front of them, which I can't blame him. Number 4 really does look the best. The rest of them are kind of like, that's the best you can do, really.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys get a chance to see them, check them out.
I don't hate them, but they're not like great.
They're not great.
But I don't hate them. I don't hate it. I don't hate them at the same time. Like they could be much worse, honestly.
Maybe they'll pop better. Sometimes, like even though the ugly Halloween cases from Shout, they're still super ugly, but they looked a little better when you got them in your hands, but still not by much. Yeah. So,
well, see, for those you could at least for the not the cover part, but like the paper part, you can like just flip it around and change it to the poster.
You could do that. Yeah. Evening Tyrell 72. A couple other Kino ones that I was kind of interested in, but they are low-level tier titles, but something I'm kind of interested in. The Experts with John Travolta and Kelly Preston, where they go to this like small town that's still like set in the 50s, but it's controlled by the Russians. So that's kind of fun, funny movie. And then The Secret Admirer with C. Thomas Howell, Lori Loughlin, and Kelly Preston. I was trying to remember everything we talked about because there really wasn't much. That's really about it, guys. Other than Dragon Slayer, it has been confirmed that's coming. It's got a nice little steelbook. So that's about it. Do you think of anything else you guys heard about?
Not offhand. I know we said a bunch earlier, but that's because we missed a week. So
yeah. And then, even then, there really wasn't that many to talk about. Yeah. Yeah, I heard Runner said he's going to buy some front row tickets to that. So
what?
He's excited.
No, I'm not. I have better shit to do.
He said, "What? No, I'm not." Like, I'm serious. Like, you're really going to buy tickets?
I know you're kidding, but like that just came out of fucking nowhere. Like, oh, like a tour I never knew was fucking happening. I'm gonna go to that. God, that sounds so. It's funny and stupid at the same
We'll
time.
give you a nice little pudding cup. Sit you in the front row. What's up,
God, the front row.
Yeah.
God, that's even worse.
Yeah, that's about it for upcoming new stuff. And also, if you guys want to pre-order the 4K Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the U.S. release, it's coming in Steelbook. It's $32.99 on Amazon and it's $39.99 on Best Buy, which the price dropped because it was like at $56, $57, I think, when they first announced it. So
that's what I first saw. I'm like, Jesus Christ, no. I mean,
yeah.
I want the Steelbook. It looks great, but like the price that they had marked down was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So it's marked down now. It's a good time to get in on it now. It may even drop. You never know. It may even drop a little bit more by then. But I think where it's at's where it's going to stay. So Zavi has been advertising a kick-ass 4K Steelbook. I'm not sure if it's out. The first one is pretty good. I liked it. That is on 4K, isn't it? Already. Yeah. I mean, I noticed
I bought the first Kick-Ass on 4K when Best Buy had that $5.99 deal with like some of the Lionsgate releases. Like remember when I got the Rambo movies?
Yeah.
It was that same day. Nice. I got Kick-Ass.
Nice. The first one's good. I don't mind it. So
I got it on digital. I'm not sure about disc.
I mean, I bought it for like $6, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's better than the actual comic book. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, not that the comic book's bad, but they do certain things in the comic book that they just couldn't do in the movies, and they fixed the story. So Mark Miller really fixed it. It was Mark Miller, right? Who directed, I think. Yeah, he really fixed the story. So.
Mark Millar, you mean?
Is it Mark? No, not Mark Miller. Is it Mark Waid? I'm thinking.
Mark Waid?
I'm trying to think of the director of the movie.
Well, those are comic book writers. Let me look it up. Because you're naming out comic book. You're talking about comic book writers.
I'm talking about the guy that directed the movie. Yeah, Mark Miller. Mark Miller directed the movie. He fixed the story for the movie.
No. Matthew Vaughn directed it.
Oh, yeah, Matthew Vaughn. That's right. Matthew Vaughn. That's what I'm thinking about because I knew he did an X-Men movie.
You guys got me so fucking confused right now.
There we go.
Yes, that's great. Matthew Vaughn directed Kick-Ass the movie. That's who I was thinking of. And he fixed the story for the movie because there's things that's done in the comic that that they couldn't translate correctly into the movie. Trust me, it's the comic and the movie are both great. So you just gotta pick and choose. So yes, Miller wrote it. Matthew Vaughn directed it. Yes.
Yeah, Millar came up with the story, I guess.
Millar.
That's how you pronounce it. I'm pretty sure it's not Miller. People keep saying Miller. It's like, no, it's Millar.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard he did the same with Juan. I never watched Juan It, but I heard he fixed that too. I mean, the writers, because Corley and Rogue says Jane Goldman wrote it, but yeah. But anyway,
Renard?
Is it pronounced Renard? It's French. No. Don't try to church it up, son. It's Joe Dierte. What's up, lovely Sherry? Glad you're here. But anyways, that's really about it, guys, for all the new stuff that's coming. So, yeah. Runner, if you're ready to go first, we'll start it off with you.
All right. This is one of the things I got for Christmas. And I'm pretty happy I got this, even though the last movie that came out recently was shit. I thought this movie was still pretty decent for what it was. Even the second one I liked when even some people didn't. And that's Halloween 2018.
Now see, I like 2018.
I do.
I do. But they
Yeah, I mean they went off a fucking cliff.
They went
at
off
the
a
very
cliff,
end.
big time.
How many times are we gonna talk about this fucking movie?
I know we talk about it like every.
I needed a fourth pick, damn it. I haven't watched much lately. But here's the thing. I'm glad it came with the slipcover because my Halloween Kills also has the slipcover. If I didn't have the slipcover for this, it'd annoy the piss out of me, but that's just me. It's got that 3D texture too.
Yeah, that's really the only one that's about worth a shit. So,
Yeah,
well,
I know,
Halloween
right?
Kills is good. It's fun.
Well,
It's just
I mean,
fun.
Halloween Kills is not a good movie objectively, but it's fun to watch.
It's fun to watch. Yeah.
I'd watch that on repeat over Ends for sure.
Speaking of which, if you guys are interested, I gotta remember this dude's name. But there's this dude, and he makes boots of these movies. He's got a 4-hour cut of the new Halloween trilogy, where he cuts out all the Corey shit from the last movie, and it's called yeah, it's a 4-hour cut. He's edited. He's got like tons of these. He's like one of the best like bootlegger guys out there that does this crap. Lame. It's called it's called, I can't remember what it's called, but he cut out everything to do with Corey. He's edited down from the Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends into one movie, and it's like 4 hours and 4.5 hours. So if I can remember his name,
it's the un-Corey edition.
Yeah, it's the un-Corey edition. I can't remember what it was. But he's got like bunches of them. Like he's edited Halloween 4, 5, and 6 into one movie, using all the stuff he could find of it. He's edited Halloween 1 and 2 into one movie. It's like apparently he does like really good stuff. So I've been thinking about trying to figure out if I want to buy one from him or not. But I've heard they're really good. So who knows? But yeah, I think we can move on from Halloween and we'll go to Tom.
Oh, we don't have to. You can talk about it at least.
Yeah, if you want to. You got anything you want to say on it, Runner?
I was just gonna say, really, I don't know if this is what the guy did or not, but all you really need to do. That's not happening, Dan Blackroyd. Listen, they're all probably gonna get extinct and gonna be thrown. They're all gonna be thrown in the incinerator for how much they're not selling, and yeah, I'm probably not gonna get a slipcover or the fucking thing in general. So there you go. Probably gonna be in like dollar stores and shit.
Just like you're not going to go see Bill Cosby live. We know.
Yeah. I was gonna say all you really need to do to like fix the ending is go to the like start it off with the extended like part, like it could still be in Halloween Kills, and while you have that extended ending, have her fight Michael Myers like sort of similar to Halloween Ends, like that. That's all you need to do.
Sort of. I mean,
sort of. Yeah.
There's a whole lot of issues that could have been done better, but give it about 15 years and we'll get a new trilogy. So
yeah, but that's the most Halloween in that dog shit movie.
Yeah. But
no, I will not have Halloween Ends in my collection. It's not happening.
Sure, Runner. Sure.
What's wrong if you got it in your collection?
Yeah, Runner. Because I know somebody who bought the movie.
Does that mean something?
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, but did you like it, Tom? That's the real question.
No.
You can.
No.
I mean, like there's some movies I do own that like I don't like, but if it's like by itself with the price it's at right now, it's like how much is it? Like $30-something? Fuck that. It's a waste.
I don't know. I had the first 2 steelbooks. I had to finish it off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whatever. If I get it for free, then maybe.
We'll see. But
here's the thing, though. I'd probably never watch it again. That's the thing.
I just can't bring myself to watch that or Scream 5 again. I just really can't. I just can't do it.
I only watched Scream 5 again because of the fucking stream we did.
Yeah.
Which was great. That was a great stream.
Yeah. All right. So I guess let's move on to Tom. What do you got for us for your first pick of the night?
Well, I finished up some Christmas viewing.
I'm gonna have some of those.
Finished off the Christmas specials classic collection or whatever you want to call it.
I thought about getting that.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad for the price. They look pretty good. I guess they're new scans of the masters. I don't know which ones are necessary. I don't know if they're necessarily from the negatives per se, but they do look pretty good. I would assume so, at least especially for like Rudolph probably. The other two maybe not. Frosty probably benefits the least from the transfer because I mean
that one's like
2D animation. So yeah.
I was gonna say like the Rudolph one's probably like really good because it's like stop motion and shit.
Yeah, but the Blu-ray before it wasn't bad either. But no, this it definitely it's a new scans because you can kind of tell in some ways. And they don't have like excessive DNR or anything like that. I mean, if you could have got it for the price in this box set, it's worth it. Buying them individually, not worth it.
How much did you get it for?
I think when I got it was like $30, something like that, maybe $20, 25, somewhere in there.
Okay,
that's really not bad because those usually are outrageous at the start.
Well, we were talking earlier about like when classic media before they got bought by Universal. I mean, shit, you could buy a DVD or Blu-ray collection of these and you get a buttload.
Yeah.
And now that Universal has them, you don't get very many in a set. And there's some of them that I wonder if they'll ever make their way out again. But luckily, I do have a decent Blu-ray set of some of them. But there was a really good DVD set way back when that had like almost all of them on it.
Well,
at least all the ones they had the rights to anyway.
Yeah, they just released one this year with like on like 10 discs, was it? Or was
that
it?
might have been just a reprint of that one for all we know, because that was all Universal did for the longest time was reprint the classic media ones. So
it might have been, yeah. But I've only ever seen like the only cartoon I've ever actually seen look awesome in 4K was Heavy Metal. Like,
yeah,
that's the only one I've really ever noticed like a big difference.
I've noticed some differences in some of them, but I haven't had a chance to see a ton yet, so I can't really compare.
Well, most of mine come from like the DC animated movies, and like I've seen the Blu-rays and the 4Ks, and I was like, there's not much difference in between.
Because they're all up converts. That's
why. So that's like my biggest thing. So I can't really tell.
Well, the 4K is back down to $30.49 on Amazon, according to Victor. So there you go. Yeah, we just lost Jules Base here not too long
ago. Yeah.
Otherwise, did you want me to do my other Christmas movie quick then?
Yeah, because you had 5, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I had to do a scary one. And it's a Christmas classic about a killer Santa Claus. And it's not the one you're thinking.
No.
It's not Silent Night, Deadly Night.
That's not what I was thinking.
It's the one that predated it. Christmas Evil.
Oh, Christmas Evil.
Have you seen this one before, Greg?
I've seen bits and pieces of it, not all the way through. But
I know you're not a big. As I say, I know you're not a big fan of Silent Night, Deadly Night, but this is considered the greatest Christmas movie ever by John Waters.
Oh, really? Well, John Waters.
That's a glowing review from John Waters, of course.
I believe it.
It is batshit crazy, kind of, but it's weird.
This is the one where he dresses like Santa, right? And then he starts killing, like he gets picked on or something. And
is this the one you thought I was going to bring up?
I thought you were bringing on Jack Frost because you said Snowman.
Oh, no. I don't remember what I said. But Christmas Evil, no, you're close. Basically, it starts out, these two kids are watching Santa put presents under the tree, and then they're in bed arguing about whether or not it was their dad or Santa Claus. And the one goes downstairs and sees the dad, aka Santa Claus, loving up on mom. It's pretty stupid in a weird way. It is cheesy as fuck in some instances, I'll tell you right now. And this cover is horrible compared to the original, and it does not have an alternate, sadly. But this is older, but slightly older Vinegar Syndrome release. It still has a DVD in it. That's how old it is.
I think, wasn't that just re-released by somebody?
I don't know if Vinegar Syndrome just got more in with cases, or if it did or not. Not sure on that. I mean, this is from a 4K scan, but it's not of the negative. So I'm assuming the negative's lost. It is just a regular Blu-ray though, but it looks like ass. I mean, not like bad, but I mean, you can tell it's not the greatest of shape. But it's an interesting piece. It's not really gory. It's almost just kind of funky weird in a way, because like, okay, so it starts out
It's
again, like I said,
Go
and then
ahead.
anyway,
Yeah.
so then it jumps to when they're adults, and the one that the older one works at a toy factory, and you come to find out that he is making a list and checking it twice of all the people in his life who are naughty and nice. And the original title of the film is You Better Watch Out. And that's what the title is on the movie itself. And I tell you, I hope you like that song.
It's
Because that song, it makes its way into this movie a lot. In every various fucking form, shape you could think of. So needless to say, so it gets moving along, and he calls his brother, who's actually Doogie Howser's dad. And which is funny because he's the biggest cast member, the most recognizable cast member. But according to some of the trivia I looked up, like they had a chance to have like Kathleen Turner and Jo Beth Williams and a bunch of other semi-famous people now, or famous people now, or who weren't famous then in the movie, and they didn't get the roles. But I mean, whoever did get the roles in the movie is all right. Anyway, so the other brother's played by the dad from Doogie Howser. And he calls his brother up and tells him he's not showing up for Christmas because he's got shit to do. And his brother knows something's up instantly because Christmas is so important to his brother. And you come to find out that he's like obsessed with Santa Claus and Christmas. Like I said, he's making a list, checking it twice, and all that stuff. Not only that, he's becoming Santa Claus, like you said.
Yeah, they just said this is.
He feels like this is the way he can transcend. It's basically Red Dragon with Santa Claus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think and it's just like by the end of the movie, you don't know what's real and what's not real anymore, right?
It is fucking weird. And again, it's hard to sell it as a horror film, really, because I mean, there's some elements that are kind of horrific, but it never goes full blown. And his character is just kind of like not scary enough to be like, it's not like Silent Night, Deadly Night kind of exploitative. Yeah. It's kind of like, you can see why John Waters says it's his favorite Christmas movie.
See, I have to rewatch. See, I'm not a huge fan of like horror Christmas movies for some reason, but I this one sounds interesting.
But it's weird because like, so you get going and he does kill a few people and do some pretty bad shit, but he also gives gifts out. So he's like doing both things. And he's made himself this really cool Santa Claus suit and everything. And I don't want to spoil too much of it, but I mean, it's not, you know, like you kind of already figured out how it goes. Like, cause you get to near the end and his brother's like pretty sure that it's his brother doing it the whole time. Right.
Right.
So he shows up at his brother's house and of course he's like, you dumb son of a bitch and all that kind of shit. You know, they get into a fight. When the younger brother thinks he kills the Santa Claus brother. And so he's dragging him out to his car and he wakes up as he's dragging him out there and he bops him and knocks him out. And he just takes off. And it literally just takes off. He has transcended to Santa Claus and he's taking off into the night. So again, like you said, at the end of the movie, you have no idea if it's real. There's still a debate going on to this day about this movie.
Yeah, that's what I remember about it. Is like because that's what because people are like, what happened was that real or was it in his imagination?
Because he really only kills
that's what I
like
remember the most about
5 people, I think, at the most, and you really don't see much of it on screen. There's some blood and stuff, but I mean, they even play up that he's supposed to be drenched in blood, but he's in a red Santa suit. You can't really fucking see it.
Well, I have to check that one out because that does sound interesting. Plus, I mean, John Waters. I mean,
it's just more wacky than it is scary. I mean, and wacky, by wacky, I just mean off kilter and weird. Like
those I can handle.
Yeah, I don't know. You might like it more. In a way, I was like, it's been a lot of years since I've seen it, and I remember now when I was younger, I would get a lot of elements of this and Silent Night flip flopped.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like, so I finally am glad that because it's been a while since I've seen this, so I had some resolution on some of that, but yeah.
See, like with the, like Silent Night stuff, not that I think because I don't think they're bad movies, except maybe the second one, but that's a fun bad movie. The third one's 4, and 5 are
ridiculous.
Just,
I mean, that third one is, I don't even know how the fuck they made that movie.
It's the innocence, it's like the innocent child stuff thing that always gets me. I kind of don't like when they add in like the kid stuff, and that kind of
there is some kid stuff in here, but the thing is Santa is protective of kids. And the one kid that he does that is naughty, he doesn't like kill the kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's never out to kill or hurt kids. And the people that he's out to kill are people that pissed him off as adults.
Yeah.
You
See,
know, like,
that I don't mind. It's like go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and he doesn't exactly get his revenge the way he wants to. I mean, it works out in some cases, but not exactly. Yeah.
It's like I tried to watch the new one that they got with the robot killer Santa called Christmas Bloody Christmas, and it's like one of the first things he does is he kills a kid right under the Christmas tree, and I'm like, yeah, I can't. Do that.
No, that's not. Like it, no.
It's like there's no reason for this kid. There's literally no reason for this kid to die in the movie. And I was like, I just can't do that.
So
See, I don't mind if it's like got like a smart ass kid or something like that, or it's just.
Yeah. Well, so that was my Christmas movies, but I did find a Thanksgiving movie that I forgot technically took place. Well, at least part of it took place around Thanksgiving. And that'll be my next one. So we'll move on.
Oh, well, I have a Christmas movie.
By the way, wait.
Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of a killer Santa Claus movie, did you guys see Violent Night?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch it, although I saw it hit VOD like I predicted it would.
Yeah, I watched it with my dad in the theater the day.
Well, what would you think since we're talking about Killer Santa real quick?
Yeah, what was it? Was it good?
I enjoyed the shit out of it. I think I know Greg would like it probably.
I've heard mostly good reviews, but I've also heard some people say why they don't understand why Santa's magic works sometimes but doesn't work others.
There is that issue, but I can kind of let that go because, okay, I'll say this. There's one thing that some people don't talk about that I think is like a really cool, like original idea within like the Santa Claus character, like where he sort of starts is like actually kind of cool. Like it explains why he's so good at killing people. Like there's like an origin with that, and it's
is it a lot like Fat Man?
I haven't seen Fat Man.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, you should see
Fat Man. Now that's a good one.
You think you're the first one?
You won't be the last.
I haven't seen Fat Man. I don't know. If
Walter Goggins in that movie is just.
Come for your head, Fat Man.
He's insane, man. And I just love the fact, like, sorry, Runner, you're talking about. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Fat Man came first, though. Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
And there might be a sequel in the works, so.
I haven't seen Fat Man yet.
Yeah. Oh, you'd love Fat Man. It's good.
Oh, you'll love it. If you love Violent Night, you'll love Fat Man.
I've seen the trailer for Fat Man, and I'm like, holy shit, I need to see this, but I just never gotten to seeing it. I wish if COVID didn't happen, I wish I'd seen it in the theater. I would have.
Now, Steven's deleted scenes here says Violent Night is decent, 3 out of 5. A sequel fleshed certain things out, but I liked Fat Man better. So,
yeah, a lot of people have seen Violent Night, said I'd like it because of Fat Man, but yeah.
See, I could see Fat Man being a better movie because,
yeah.
like, there are some dumb shit in Violent Night, but it's fun.
Yeah, pretty much the most that Fat Man has to make you like accept is just that Santa Claus exists.
Yeah,
like that's really the furthest of it. Because because otherwise they do a pretty good job of setting up the rules, what he can and cannot do, and just that kind of stuff. But like,
yeah.
But no,
it's a fun one.
I need to see Fat Man, but Violent Night, I do think you should give it a chance if you have.
I do plan on it. I just haven't got a chance to yet. And now it's past the season, so I'll probably just wait for the Blu-ray to come out.
Yeah, I know. That's
probably
the problem
same here.
That's the problem with Fat Man. Or which studio did Fat Man? Was it Paramount?
It's an independent.
No,
company.
It was an indie film, and it never got a 4K release that I know of. I think it just got a standard.
I know.
No, but the Blu-ray is only like $11.99 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's the Blu-ray from? Like, what was like who distributed the Blu-ray? Wasn't it?
I don't remember if it was Paramount or not. Runner might be right on that. I'm trying to remember now.
Because it looked like a Paramount release.
It might have been, but I think Paramount took on some people's distribution too for a while there.
I'll look it up.
I know it was an indie film and all that, but
yeah, no, yeah. For some reason, you're right. It's from RBL Studios and Fortitude. But for some reason, like in Saban.
Yeah,
The
Saban.
Saban
It
also
does say Paramount Pictures though on Blu-ray.com.
I was gonna say for some reason, yeah, I do remember the Blu-ray looking like a Paramount Blu-ray.
Yeah. But I did see the director of that, which I do follow, and he does follow me. Shout out to him.
Oh yeah.
He did tweet
He
out
liked
that
your review, didn't he?
yeah, he did like my review. He did tweet out.
Did
He
you
said,
see? Speaking of making cameos, motherfucker.
"Oh, go
Did
ahead."
you see the recent thing from In Search of People?
Oh no.
You are the example
Oh yeah,
that
and
they
the email.
use.
Yeah. I noticed that because like all of a sudden my review shot up in views, and I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" And I checked
Well,
my
that's pretty
email.
sweet.
Yeah, so yeah, it was
That's
pretty
cool.
sweet. I checked my I was like, "Holy shit!" They used my review.
I noticed that. I
email.
forgot to say something about it. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't
Sorry,
believe
that
it.
reminded me of that.
Yeah, no, go ahead. That's fine. I just want because it's coming. The Blu-ray's coming in January, I believe.
Can't wait.
Yeah, and I was like, all of a sudden, my video started getting higher and higher views. And I was checking. I was like, why is this doing this? And I finally checked my emails, and I saw it in the email. And I was like, oh, well, thank you guys. I appreciate that. So shout out to them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the director Fat Man did said there is talks of a sequel. He doesn't want to give people too much hope, but it looks promising. So
Yeah, it's cool.
That's cool.
so that'd be exciting to see. They need to get somebody though. It's going to be. I don't want to say because the runners never say, but I was going to say it's going to be hard to replace Walter Goggins. So
I know, right?
yeah,
Oh, he dies. Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, you
That
kind
won't-
of figure that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like if it's a villain in a crazy Santa movie Christmas thing, you know.
There's
the
only
villain's
one
gonna
answer.
die.
His dad is coming to avenge him, and his dad is
There you go.
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey.
Hey, fat man, I'm here for your head. That's right. Gary Busey's here.
No,
That's fun.
but since the season's passed and there's next year, I would watch Violent Night then.
We'll see. Maybe I'll double feature it when Christmas because I didn't watch
You
Fat Man
killed
this
my
year.
boy.
That would be funny as hell. I have a feeling it might have.
Here's the
something
thing you
good.
didn't know. I'm the Tooth Fairy. This time, the fat man has met his match.
You're writing the sequel right there, man.
See, I got a smile for miles.
I still can't believe he's a ginger dead man. That just
See, he
cracked
would be
me
perfect as the Tooth Fairy. He's got that
up. He would be because with this
wicked
teeth.
smile, yeah.
Dude, for
The
that
teeth
matter,
make me strong, the teeth of the little children.
you get Gary Busey and Jake Busey, brother and father. That would be.
See, and that's the thing is this whole time you realize that the Tooth Fairy is this wicked demon. You know,
Yeah.
he leaves gold for the children, but he steals their teeth, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only reason that we leave teeth under the pillow is so he doesn't kill them and take them. Those were the good old days. I could come home with loads of teeth every night. Now I'm lucky if I get a bag's worth.
That actually would be a really, really cool movie to see.
And it used to cost me a dime every time. Now
Mel
it's
Gibson versus
then it was a
Gary Busey.
quarter. Now it's $1, the greedy little bastards.
Oh, that would be awesome.
You keep complaining. But you got a good job and you're working. I don't see anybody chasing after you because they didn't get what they wanted.
Then you throw in Nick Nolte as Easter Bunny. So
Hoppity hop, motherfucker.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
I ain't your bunny, I ain't your pal, and I ain't your friend.
could you imagine?
I don't care if it's Easter.
That's probably the greatest casting.
Oh,
I've
that
ever
would be
heard.
awesome.
Dude, Nick Nolte as the Easter Bunny would be fucking perfect.
Here's your fucking egg.
That would be awesome. What's up, all right, kid? That would be funny.
You don't like eggs. Took me all night to make it.
God damn it.
No, that's a
some bitches
movie.
are coming out. Why do you think I talk like this?
That's a movie. Oh,
Fat Man versus the Easter Bunny versus the Tooth Fairy.
so, it might as well, because from what I've heard, David
Featuring
Harbour.
Warwick Davis as the leprechaun.
There you go. That would be awesome as well. Throw him in here. But like I said, that would work because from what I heard, David Harbour wants Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy and stuff in the next Violent Night. So he wants the whole like world.
No, I think it'd be
himself.
funny though if like the Tooth Fairy was actually like a bad guy. That'd be funny.
That would be funny. I mean, everybody thinks that it's like, oh, it's just an innocent thing putting your teeth. No, it's something dark and sinister all along.
Yeah, he used to kill children, but you come up with a reason why he had to make a deal, and now he has to pay for the teeth, but that's what he needs to survive.
And, yeah. All right, I guess we'll move on to Mike.
It's all the little teeth. That's right.
That's what
they keep me alive.
Nice and white.
They keep mine nice and pearly white.
Get throw in Charlie Sheen as what's his name, Krampus. Then we're set.
Tiger blood. Winning.
I got the tiger blood, fat man. Anyway,
shit. Jack Nicholson is the Grinch.
That would be hilarious. It's like a whole Gotham world, but Santa Claus world. Oh.
No, the Grinch don't fit, but somebody said Jack Nicholson in the chat, so I had to work it in somehow. No, he can be Jack Frost. I am so cool.
Got sunglasses. But I go on to this is technically my only Christmas movie. The other one, it's more debatable, but I watch it around Christmas time. But yeah, I got Scrooge with Bill Murray. I wasn't sure if I'd brought this on last year or not, but I did watch it. I care. Elliot Loudermilk?
You can hardly see your nipples.
See, these guys
are really looking.
Why do you keep calling me? What was it, Dave? He wants to do Cleopatra for me. I swear for that. I swear.
Oh, they think he's what's his face? The actor.
The actor. Shit. I can't remember the name at the moment.
He's in The Exorcist as well. Damn it, or two. Yeah. Anyway. Shit. What the hell's his name?
He's in Cleopatra with what's her name? Elizabeth. Whatever her name. I can't forget. I'm forgetting names.
Yeah, I can't think of his damn name, but yeah.
No, but I watched. That's a classic one I watch pretty much every once in a while on Christmas. I love it. It's one of my favorite retellings of the Christmas story, Christmas Carol.
Your Bill life might just depend on it.
Yeah. You can't buy publicity like this. I want it every hour on the hour.
I'm sorry, you can't show that. That's like the Manson Family Christmas special.
It's kind of late to be getting this feedback now.
Yeah.
Richard Burton. The first time I saw it. Richard Burton. Dick. Yeah. Dick. That's called Dick. Do it for me, Dick. Do it for me.
Yeah, they got what's her face from Throw Mama from the Training Goonies.
Yes.
And,
yeah. And then Indy's wife. Well, was Indy's wife.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. She's the other star of the film.
Yeah.
I just forgot her name now too.
I know. I got it right here, and I'm Karen Allen.
Karen Allen, yeah, and supposedly Karen Allen, Bill Murray made her cry on the set, and him, and what's her face who plays the Christmas present. Carol Kane, yeah.
I could believe that.
Or she Christmas past? I can't even remember now.
She's Christmas present.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just fun. I love this. It's
Christmas past was the cab driver. That's right.
Yeah, was
Buster
he sings
Poindexter.
That one song. Yeah, Dexter Poindexter. Ole,
you keep on rocking, keeping hot. He used to be in New York Dolls. That's what's his real name? Shit. I forgot now his real name. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. Like I said, I watch it pretty much almost every Christmas. I make sure to watch it. It's one of my favorite tellings of that. And Bill Murray's
Niagara
great.
Falls, Frankie.
Niagara Falls. I was touched by a gift in today's market. A piece of
It's a
milk-fed
very
veal
expensive meat.
would be $35 or whatever he says. But the special effects hold up in that really well, especially when when his boss comes up and holds him out the window.
Did
That
our guys do
really
that?
holds up.
We're gonna get phone calls.
Yeah.
David Johansen. That's it. Thank you, Steven.
Yeah. There you go. But it's great. Runner, have you ever seen Scrooged? You've got to have seen Scrooged.
Yeah, I've seen it once when I was it was like years ago, and I haven't seen it in a long time.
Well, it's like a Bill Murray family affair because you got almost all his brothers in it too.
All four of his brothers. His oldest brother plays his dad.
I thought one of them didn't make it in there.
No, his younger brother plays his brother, and
Yeah.
his middle brother plays a brother, one of his brother's friends at the party.
Yeah.
And then his oldest brother plays his dad.
Yeah, but I thought he had another brother too, but I could be wrong.
Does he have one more? Sorry, Runner. Don't mean to keep cutting you off.
No, that's fine. I can't really say much about this movie. I don't remember a whole lot. I remember seeing it like once with like my dad because it's like one of his favorite Christmas movies. I feel like I'll enjoy it more when I watch it now, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's good. It's actually darker than you would think. It does get a little dark in the movie, but it's really fun and it's good time.
It's surprising how much it does. There's certain little bits and pieces that it has of this actual Scrooge story that some of the other versions do overlook from time to time, and it does stick very close to the basic, the basics of it. But he's got 5 brothers.
Oh, he's got 5. Okay, so one.
I think there's at least one older one that's not in it. That one right next to the one on the end there. Yeah. I don't think is in the movie, but the rest of them are. I think
the one in the blue shirt right there.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about the one next to him either. So, because I know Brian Doyle plays his dad, like you're right, and then the one next to him is the one who plays his brother at the party. The one in the far left is the one that's his friend at the party. Yeah, or vice versa, one of the two. No, yeah, because then this is the brother that's been in other movies with him, and he's also in One Crazy Summer.
Yeah,
and the other two, I'm not so sure if they act. They don't look so recognizable.
I mean, the one almost looks like Brian Doyle Murray.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I don't think I've seen him in other things, but he's wearing his pants for some reason.
The one brother, Joel Murray, there is wearing the jacket, and the other brother wearing the pants.
Anyway,
I loved Joel Murray in Hatchet. That's one I brought on last week. He was great in that movie. But yeah, I did not know Richard Donner didn't like the final cut of the film, but I could believe that.
Him and Bill Murray did not get along very well. But he was very gracious about it. He never said anything real bad. That was when Bill Murray was really, really difficult. We'll say he had a very difficult phase there for a while. Yeah,
him and Chevy Chase, kind of weird.
Well, the problem with Bill was he was always trying to make a different movie than the director was.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference.
Yeah, he had his own idea in his head. Yeah.
Chevy Chase was just an asshole.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm the star.
Just a jerk from what we've heard. So
yeah. Do you remember Brian Doyle Murray?
I do remember the movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
What's Modern Problems? That sounds really... Is that the one with Goldie Hawn?
I think she might be in that one too. I think it was the follow up to Foul Play, but it's not an actual sequel. It was like just them together again, if I remember right.
Is Foul Play the one where he like snorts up that cocaine and gets all kinds of magical powers?
No, that might be Modern Problems. Actually,
I think Modern Problems is that one.
Foul Play was the one where his ex-wife is Goldie Hawn, and I think he's set up for murder, if I remember right. It's been a while. I have it on Blu-ray, but I haven't watched it. It's been a while since I've seen them. There are ones that I saw in video way back when.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of Just Like Old Times. Okay, so Modern Problems might be the one you're thinking of, though, where he got superpowers, though. Because isn't that the one that on the poster, it's like he's got like the X-ray thing on him or something like that? He's got like weird powers.
I just looked it up, Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about, and it doesn't look like Goldie Hawn's in that one.
No, you're right because I was corrected correctly by Corleone Rogue. That's just like old times is what I was thinking of. I was getting the two flip
Yeah.
flopped.
Dabney Coleman, Nell Carter, and Mary Kay Place, and Patty. I was looking at the cast.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes, Modern Problems is where he gets exposed to nuclear waste and develops telekinesis.
Yeah, and Brian Doyle Murray is in that one. Yep, that's what I was thinking of. I'm glad he brought that up because I have been trying to figure out the name of that movie for years.
It's kind of a lost one if you think about it.
Yeah, because I just remember the scene where he snorts a bunch of coke or whatever, and his hair sticks up, and he starts shooting electricity and shit. I was like, "What is the name of that movie?" Because I've always forgotten the name of that movie. So thank you. Now I know Modern Problems. I'm gonna look that up. What's up, Brightest Day?
Yeah,
What's up, Brightest Day?
Yeah. But Runner, if you're ready, we'll go to you. You ready for
I don't
your
even know if that's ever had a DVD or Blu-ray or anything.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Go on, Runner.
All right. This movie right here, I would say, if you haven't seen this movie at all, you're missing out completely. This is probably, I would definitely consider this a modern masterpiece compared to like some of the shit we're getting now. And if you don't know who Damien Chazelle is, he's a director right now, and he's probably one of the best, even though he's got a really shit movie out right now that bombed. But this is arguably his best movie, and that is Whiplash with Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons.
I saw it once.
I've never seen it.
You need to see it.
It's all right. It was all right.
I love it.
It was kind of I felt like it had some mixed messages in it, but yeah, I haven't seen it enough to really give it a really good what do you call it?
Review.
Well, not quite a review, but like a really good analysis, I guess is the word I'm looking for more so.
There you go. I have not seen it, so I can't really speak on it.
I think it's fucking great.
Is he the one that did Babylon?
Yeah, I watched it. I watched Babylon in the theater yesterday.
And how was that?
Oh boy.
Oh, that explains it.
It was fucking rough.
I
will tell you one good thing. I got a free poster.
I mean, I guess because Margot Robbie's on there is nice, but
she's pretty hot in it. She was all right in the movie, I guess. She just plays Margot Robbie. Brad Pitt is probably the best part in the movie, but Babylon is a fucking train wreck and a half, honestly. Like there's things in that movie that are like pretty good. Like it's got moments in it, and the idea of the movie is pretty cool. Like you're going into the kind of the film business when it was still like silent to then it's kind of like Singing in the Rain meets Eyes Wide Shut.
okay.
And Eyes Wide Shut is a way better movie, no matter what people say about it. That's how
I love your response there. That was funny.
No, like this movie it makes Eyes Wide Shut look a lot better.
It's getting very maligned right now by a lot of folk. Yeah.
The first 20 minutes of Babylon is like, what the fuck am I watching? The worst character in the movie is the fucking elephant. If anyone has seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. The elephant is the worst part of the fucking movie. Not the worst part, but it's the worst character in the movie.
Brian Barth wants to know, is Brad Pitt a lead or a supporting role?
Okay. This is a really difficult question. Okay, I'll explain it like this. Brad Pitt is the lead when it comes to like maybe like promoting the movie next to Margot Robbie. He feels like a supporting character in the fucking movie. This Diego guy is the fucking lead, honestly.
Is it Andor? The Andor guy?
No, not Diego Luna. Some he was in Narcos, I think.
I think Diego Luna was in Narcos.
Yeah, Diego.
Not
Well,
it was a different Diego.
are you talking about
I
The
forget it's like
Mandalorian?
Yeah.
no. I forget his name. If anyone in the chat, well, I'll look it up. Fuck it.
I love how he brought up Whiplash and we're just crapping on Babylon and none of us never seen
Yeah.
it but him.
Well, here,
Is it this guy, Diego Calva?
yeah, that's his name, Diego Calva. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, and deleted scenes.
He is pretty much the main character in the movie, and he doesn't have the gravitas that Brad Pitt has. Let's be honest.
Use the big names to sell the movie, but not as them the leads.
Yeah, I know, and Tobey Maguire's in it for like 10 minutes, and it's like creepy as shit. It's basically Tobey Maguire, but like creepy and dark and shit. It's weird. It's a weird
So he's
fucking
Bully
movie.
Bully
He's
McGuire?
Bully MacGyver again.
No. This well, Toby was okay.
no, this. It's hard to think
movie,
about it, ain't it? Instead of getting anything good about it.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing: if you're gonna watch it at least once.
People keep scaring me away from this movie.
See, I'll say this: if you're a huge fan of movies like Singing in the Rain, you're definitely gonna fucking hate this movie. You're definitely gonna hate it and oh my god, the montage at the end was fucking horrible.
So it's no Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is what I'm
hearing. No. Don't compare to that. No. Like, I mean, here's the thing: was it and I don't hate Damien Chazelle because he made like one bad movie, and La La Land was actually pretty good. I didn't think I'd like it, but I liked it.
I still haven't seen La La Land either.
I bought the 4K steelbook. It's a good movie. Whiplash is a better movie in my opinion. It's probably his best. But like I still haven't seen First Man yet. I heard that was pretty good.
I watched First Man. It's good, but I kind of feel like they made him to be a little more of a dickhead than he was actually in real life. So,
I have it, but I haven't watched it yet.
I mean, it's not a bad movie. It's actually a decent watch, but I feel like they kind of made him a little bit of a dick, and I don't think he was like quite like that in real life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But no, Babylon's an interesting movie. I would say I saw it yesterday because it was like $5 Tuesday and a matinee type thing. And I got a Fandango gift card for Christmas, so I didn't really spend any of my actual money on it.
Well, at least you didn't spend your money on a shit movie. So
no. And here's the thing. I heard very mixed reviews about it in the first place, and it kind of like excited me. I was like, holy shit. Like I actually want to see this. Like if I have the time, and I didn't have work yesterday, so I was like, I'll check it out.
So what I'm hearing is it's not one of those so bad it's good. It's just one of those so bad it's crap.
Yeah, and literally there is. I'm just gonna spoil it right away. There in the first 10 minutes, there's a scene where they're trying to pull an elephant up on a fucking mountain so they can drag it to this fucking party, and the elephant legitimately shits. Like there's a shot where it literally just shits all over the fucking audience. I'm not kidding you.
So that is pretty much what they're doing.
Yeah.
Tom's was like, I don't want to see this movie now.
It's rough, and in the
which sucks because I kind of did at first, but yeah.
The
more I hear about it, the more it sounds less likely.
Yeah, watch it once at least.
Doesn't sound like you should.
You should. I'm not saying you need to. You're probably not gonna like it, knowing you. And the 3-hour runtime is fucking stupid as shit.
I miss short movies.
I do too. I mean, there's a lot I could talk. Okay, like in the party, it's a bunch of like orgy bullshit, and it's like it's terrible. It's bad.
Tim Hayes says, "Which movie is this? It's Babylon." Tim
Babylon. The most unattractive orgy in the cinema history.
So evidently, these movies don't get good until you get to Babylon 5. It sounds like to me.
Exit stage right, if you will, please. Where's the gong from the Gong Show? Bong.
I know, right?
I
don't know why they. Now I know why they did them backwards.
and like most people have said, like there are like probably like 2 or 3 like really strong scenes in the movie, and that's about it. Like there's some cool things, but the whole like the story, like just the movie in general as a whole, I'm like what the fuck was Damien Chazelle on making this movie? I'm like, Jesus Christ, you go from fucking Whiplash to this? Jesus. Like,
but is it worse than the orgy scene in Sausage Party?
I haven't seen Sausage Party.
I have not either. I've only seen about 5 minutes of it.
I think my friend showed me the orgy scene in that, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not watching this.
Tyrell, that movie's just as bad. Babylon AD, that movie is just as bad.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
That's with Vin Diesel. It's not a good one.
That's a sequel too. This Babylon franchise sucks.
Yeah, it's definitely hit and miss.
It's mostly miss.
Mostly miss.
Here's the thing: like when I heard about this, when I heard about that movie being announced, like, oh, Damien Chazelle's making a movie starring Brad Pitt, Mario Robbie, and Tobey Maguire, I was like, yeah, sign me the fuck up. And I saw the trailer, and I'm like, I think some people didn't like the trailer, but I was like, no, this looks kind of fun.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. Like there were a few parts like that it like intrigued me, and then there were many times where like I just tried to look away. And I shit you not, there were 3 people who left the theater.
That's not a sign of a good movie.
No, it's not.
Like I even sat through Rob Zombie's Halloween, not to bring that back up again, and nobody left, even though that was a shit movie. So if people walking out of Babylon,
yeah, there were like at least 2 or 3 people walking out when like something like disgusting happened. And I thought about walking out like almost halfway through, but I'm at the same time I'm like, I need to see what happens. I need to see what happens. And like that montage I mentioned, it basically goes through like kind of like that Diego, how do you say his last name?
Calva,
whatever his name is. He's watching Singing in the Rain in the theater. And he goes through this montage in his head with like how film has progressed over the fucking years. And it's fucking stupid. I'm like, okay, so you can see through the future then? It's like, that makes no fucking sense. Because the last clip that they show when it's like a movie montage is a clip of fucking Avatar. I shit you not. I shit you not. They go from what's that short film called back in the day, like back when films were like starting out, oh god, it's that moon thing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
We watched it in film class, but it's like that was like huge at the time.
Yeah,
like
I know
a trip to the
about.
moon, that's what it was. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so they show a little clip of that. They show the shot of the moon, that like iconic shot,
to
like going from like other like iconic movies to then Avatar at the very end. I'm like, what the
It's a
fuck?
cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah. Like, and there have been some people like in the internet who like there's some people like praising Babylon, and I'm like, why? And then there's some people like jokingly saying that it's Damien Chazelle's masterpiece, which is hilarious.
More like a crapper piece. So
yeah, like it's arguably his worst movie.
all right.
You've almost successfully talked about the movie as long as the movie is.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think it's my turn.
Yeah, what do you got?
But okay, but Whiplash,
yeah.
but Whiplash is good.
Okay.
Whiplash is
good. Watch Whiplash.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, I checked out a recent Paramount release. You know, our favorite. They have been releasing a lot of Eddie Murphy's movies again on Blu-ray. And basically, I don't think it's the same one as this one, but it is not a very good scan. This probably is like the scan for like cable or like digital or something, because it's not very good. It does not look very modern as far as scans go. The movie itself is great. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it or not.
Yes,
but
I have seen Boomerang. I like it.
And it's aged quite well. It's got a great fucking cast in it. I'm sure Runner's never seen it. But he could probably learn a thing or two if he watched it.
What are you talking about? Of course I've seen it.
You've seen Boomerang?
No, I'm kidding.
I knew you had it.
But speaking of characters and actors in the film, I mean, it does need mentioning that, you know, this is almost a character in the film itself, as we know. Yeah, because it is. It really is. Yes.
Yeah,
like,
okay,
there's more of this music in the movie than the actual. There's an actual score.
Okay, like, I'll tell you this. Like, I don't mean to go back to Babylon, but the best part of that movie is the score. The score is great because almost every like Damien Chazelle score is great in all the movies I've seen. So that's like one big positive about this.
Is he ever going to stop talking about that fucking movie?
So.
All right, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay, so Boomerang is about Eddie Murphy as a advertising executive, and he is a ladies' man. He knows all the ins and outs on how to get the ladies, but his problem is he just can't seem to fall in love. As soon as he hits it, he quits it, as Martin Lawrence puts it in the movie. Is I wouldn't say hilarious, but it's a very funny look at modern dating at the time. And it's a very interesting film in and of itself. But Halle Berry and Robin Gibbons are great in it. You also have Eartha Kitt, who's hilarious in it.
Oh, yeah, I remember her in that. Yeah,
you have Martin Lawrence, who's great in it. But David Alan Grier puts in a performance that most people overlook, too. And What's-His-Face Witherspoon is his dad is fucking hilarious. God, what the hell's his first name?
Is it John?
Yeah, John Witherspoon, I think it is.
Yeah, John Witherspoon.
Yeah. It's like, of course he's his dad. He looks just like because that scene's great. Because that's what I was saying. This is technically a Thanksgiving movie. I forgot.
Oh yeah,
that whole scene where Halle Berry and we meet John Witherspoon and where they fuck in the bath.
See, I remember this movie because I rented this and The Distinguished Gentleman back to back. I love those movies because I double featured them one night.
Okay, so back on track of the story though, because Runner's probably lost now.
Yeah.
So what happens is Eddie Murphy's company that he works for gets bought out by this other company, and they're in what they do is they make fragrances, so ladies' perfume. And Eartha Kitt's company buys out Eddie Murphy's company, so now he has a new boss in Robin Gibbons, and she is the first woman to give Eddie a run for his money. So the player gets played is what it's about, kind of. And of course, there's eventually a love triangle involved, and I don't want to give too much away for those who haven't seen it, but it's a very well done film, very hilarious. like I said, great cast, killer soundtrack. The soundtrack is a character in the film. It's hard to explain it without seeing it, but it's kind of like a Tarantino film in a sense. Even though it's all new modern music, the music is a big part of the movie. It sets every scene, or it plays a role in every scene. It calls back to things that were in earlier scenes. Blah, blah, blah. And for those who don't remember, this soundtrack basically had a single that topped out, I believe, Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You" with the Boyz II Men "End of the Road," which wasn't beat until a couple of years later by the Boyz II Men again with Mariah Carey when they had that song they did together. But yeah, "End of the Road" was a huge song for this soundtrack. But
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, this also had stuff like "I Die Without You" by PM Dawn, and it was produced by Babyface, so that was another reason why it was a big deal. But like I said, there's even bits and pieces of the songs that kind of tell the story as you're going along, plus call back to things. And it's a very simple kind of story, but it plays out so well, and it's plays brilliantly to Eddie's, his prowess and comedy power at that time.
Yeah.
This is kind of one of his last hurrahs as an adult actor for a while until he come back around, because this is one of his last technical hits, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
For a while anyway, till he did Nutty Professor.
I remember Halle Berry being very sweet in that movie.
She's hot and cute as hell in this movie.
Yeah, that's why I remember that a lot, because much like Dan Blackwood said, like I brought up, I did used to confuse this with Distinguished Gentleman, because I rented them back to back a lot back in the day. I would double
Distinguished
feature
Gentleman's good, but that's never got a Blu-ray as far as I
know. That's what I was about to
say.
say. Because I used to double. I remember double featuring them on VHS back in the day, because I did it a lot, because I loved those movies. They were hilarious, and they were fun
this
to
one
watch.
came out. I think they either came out the same year or the year back to back to each other. That's pretty close to each other. I know that.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember thinking Robin Givens was hot, and I remember thinking Halle Berry was like smoking hot in that movie, and it was a fun time. It was funny as hell. I do remember that with David Allen.
Chris Rock's great in it too.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, is this cast is just
it had a great cast. Yeah,
chock fucking full of people. Like almost every major black comedic actor at that time is in this movie.
Yep.
You've even got Grace Jones in it. Like I said, and brilliantly used is Eartha Kitt, even though she's not even in it all that much. She is so memorable in the
yeah.
Because this is a bit I guess I can get away. So like Eddie Murphy thinks like to solidify him being keeping his job, and not only that, potentially getting an advanced role in the company, he sleeps with Eartha Kitt.
Yeah.
And do you know who Eartha Kitt is, Runner?
He's tuned us out, man. He forgot.
He's totally tuned us out.
He tuned us out.
She was one of the original Catwomen. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So even though she's a good-looking woman, she's fairly along in age at this point.
Yeah.
Well, Eddie comes to find out that she has no power in the company anymore. She's just the face of the company, like Colonel Sanders.
Yes.
So he slept with her for nothing.
So if I remember, don't she like throw herself at him at one point?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too. That's one of the funniest scenes later on. I'm not wearing any panties.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of when she said, "I'm not wearing any panties."
And he's like, yeah, just because a lady ain't wearing any panties doesn't mean I slept with her. I mean, it's hot in here. Just because she took her drawers off don't mean something.
Oh, I'm gonna have to buy this one. That's one.
I wish it was a better transfer, but yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Eartha Kitt in Holes with Shia LaBeouf.
Oh yeah, she was in that.
Yeah.
The other until this, the thing I remembered her in was Ernest. Besides Batman.
Yeah, Ernest.
She was Ernest Scared Stupid. Yeah.
Yep, I remember. That's what I remember from Ernest and Batman. And then that.
I saw her. Well, I think I'm pretty sure I saw her in Holes first, because I saw that when I was like really little, and then I saw her in Batman.
Well, I think Eddie strayed away from adult films because he had a few flops in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And Nutty Professor hit big. Dr. Dolittle hit big. So for a while there, he tried milking the family movie thing, and it just didn't work out for him. Then he tried winning an Oscar again.
Mm-hmm.
And that hasn't quite worked out for him yet, but yeah. Then he made Coming to America 2, which makes me worry even more for Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Yeah, that's not Just say hesitant about Beverly Hills Cop 4. Just to say hesitant.
Is Jerry Bruckheimer producing the fourth one?
I think so. I think he's back producing.
Okay.
Because I know like all the original cast is back except for like Ronnie Cox and the lady who played Jenny Summers, I think, is the only two I haven't heard anything about yet.
Because I was gonna say, like, it would be really bad. It would be a bad look for him. Like, you did a good thing with, you had a good thing going with Top Gun Maverick, and if fucking Beverly Hills Cop 4 is as bad as some of the leaks are saying
well,
out
it's
there,
shaping up to be bad because it's about Eddie's estranged daughter,
Of course.
who's married to a cop.
Oh boy.
So right off the bat, we know Eddie's a bad dad.
Yeah, another deadbeat dad, huh?
And aren't they naming it Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley?
Yeah, it's called Axel Foley. It's not called Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Okay, so they're trying to title it like.
And that's the weird thing is they
Maverick.
got I don't know. And they got another thing about it is they got a deal for 2 movies. So if they kill Axel Foley in this movie, I might be pissed.
Yeah, I would
because I'm definitely not seeing another movie without him. Fuck that.
Yeah,
that would be stupid.
And I really don't care about his daughter and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, but you know what? Since we're talking about Eddie Murphy real quick, I'll just show my pick real quick.
AA highlight Dan Blackroyd's comment.
No, her name will end up being Alexis. You watch.
Beverly Foley.
Beverly. That would actually be kind of funny.
But yeah, since we're speaking of Eddie Murphy real quick, I watched Trading Places. Now I brought this on last year, but you guys weren't here. I did a show by myself when I brought it on.
Oh yeah, well that's the older print of it too.
Yeah, this is before Paramount Presents. So yeah,
I thought about getting.
I had that scan too.
It's not too bad, but it'll do.
I thought about getting it, but are they going to release a 4K?
I've heard a 4K is coming. So.
Beef jerky time.
Yeah, because you know how Paramount is.
I wish they would have released it this year. It'd been nice. Yeah, this one is the one that they're dragging their ass on for some reason.
Yeah, they're taking their time on it. But yeah, I watched that again.
Same with the Warriors because they released a Blu-ray steelbook for it, and I'm like, nope, I'm gonna wait for the 4K.
Yeah, because I was just going through the movies for the awards thing we were talking about earlier. I just realized Wayne's World was released twice in the same year.
But yeah,
that steelbook was earlier in the year. Yeah, it wasn't even a whole year in between.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was. A lot of people forget Eddie Murphy was pretty young when he first did a lot of his.
Well, he started his stand-up when he was 15. He was the youngest cast member on SNL. I think he still is.
Yeah.
To this day, if I'm not mistaken.
Beverly Hills Cop, he was only in his 20s. So
I think he actually got hired, I think, when he's 17, even though it didn't start till he was 18, I believe. I can't remember exactly, but yeah.
That's crazy.
A lot of people forget that. But yeah, I love.
He always played much older.
Yeah, he did. And he comes off as too because he looked it, but he also
was only 24 in Beverly Hills Cop, and he was playing like 30 or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you figure he's a detective, so he's got to be at least in his late 20s, if not early 30s, because, he's got to have gone through the police academy. You would have been on a regular police force for a little bit, and then all that kind of business, had to go through all the schooling to be a detective, and it's not just something you do overnight.
Yeah. Brian Barth, we answered that question.
Yeah.
It was because he started.
He might be behind.
Yeah. Anthony Michael Hall was a little young when younger than Eddie.
Oh, did he? Was he?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Maybe.
I did not know that. I thought he was a little older than that, but
yeah.
So I know Anthony was the other way around. He always played younger than he really was.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So
until he got older. Yeah.
But yeah, Eddie Murphy had such a great career in the 80s. Like we said, it's Boomerang. That was like 90s though. But he had such 92. A great career from the middle 80s into the early 90s.
Well, like I said, Boomerang was kind of his last big, I guess you could consider big hit until for Paramount anyway, because then he did Beverly Hills Cop 3 and Vampire in Brooklyn, and both of those flopped.
And Metro,
but that he did for Disney, like he did because he had like a 2 or 3 picture deal with Disney.
Oh,
he did Distinguished Gentleman and Metro for Disney.
Yeah.
and then I don't know if he had a 3-picture deal in Haunted Mansion, finished that out or what, but then of course we had, all his family movies he did for a while there. It was, Meet Dave and Norbit and Pluto Nash. And,
How do you go from Trading Places to Pluto Nash?
Well, there was a time when Eddie Murphy basically owned Paramount Pictures. Like, he had his own little golf cart and he would buzz around the lot and everything. And I'm almost convinced that if it wasn't for Eddie Murphy, we probably wouldn't have got a bunch of Star Trek movies in the 80s, because he was a huge Star Trek fan. So I'm sure he was like, hey man, when's the next Star Trek movie coming out?
When you gonna get that Captain Kirk up in space again?
He was supposed to be in Star Trek 4.
Oh, that would have been cool.
But it just didn't work out. But yeah. He was supposed to play a cop in it that was, because he saw the joke is he actually saw him land.
Oh, and
so like he's trying to convince everybody it's a spaceship. Saw it, the man came out, the other man came out, and it disappeared. It's gone.
That would have been interesting. That would have been cool.
I'm not fucking crazy.
I think that would have worked.
I'm gonna prove it.
I'm gonna prove all you motherfuckers wrong.
I'll bring this crazy fucking pointy-eared alien up in here and I'll show y'all.
Yeah, this guy told me, he said he slept with a green woman.
Man, he fucked a green bitch.
He's a green hoe.
Because I brought that up because, of course, in this movie, Eddie brings up the fact that he's a Trekkie.
Oh yeah,
and he is in real life. So,
yeah, that's pretty cool though. But yeah, there's a couple great Eddie Murphy movies. If you've never seen them, Boomerang, give that a good watch. I haven't seen that in a good years. I might have to give that and that Chevy Chase movie. I'm gonna have to search down. So give me two ones I haven't seen
DVD
in a while.
from what I could see. So it's been kind of ignored. Maybe it's lost in obscurity. Who knows what rights it's under? It looks like CBS Fox released it on video, but
if I ever find it,
it's hard to say because that means
it.
it was an older. It's hard to say who owns it.
Yeah. But yeah, there you guys go. I brought on Trading Places last year. Like I said, it was just me. But yeah,
I watched the replay for the one you were on by yourself.
If I'd have known you were going to bring it on, I brought my record. I got the record this year, the Mondo one, the soundtrack.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
it's nice. But yeah, we'll go to you, Runner. If you guys any final words on Eddie Murphy stuff there.
Nah, I think we're good.
Right. I still need to watch more Eddie Murphy movies because I haven't seen a whole lot of his movies, to be honest.
His early stuff is great. It's fun.
Yeah, so, I mean, Beverly Hills Cop is like the only one that really comes to mind.
Yeah. But what do you got for us, Runner?
All right, I have a movie. Greg already showed it a few weeks ago. I finally got to watching it. I've tried watching this, but I never had time. And I started watching like the first like 10 minutes, almost like every like 10 times or whatever. But I was like, other stuff came up, so I finally of last week, around like Christmas, finally watched this whole thing.
I gotta say it. Debbie Does Dallas.
Finally.
You're actually correct.
I knew it.
About damned time he got on the Vinegar Syndrome train. Jesus.
No, I got on the Shout Factory train, actually, not Vinegar Syndrome.
Oh, Sword of Sorcerer. He got run on the train.
I like that one. That's a fun one.
I had fun.
It's a fun movie. I liked it.
There's a lot of Conan in it, that's for sure.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah,
we just lost the director of that movie too, you know.
Yeah, I know. I thought I wanted to watch it.
Albert Pyun.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to watch it around the time like of like the week he passed away, but I didn't have time to like watch it all, so yeah. I watched it recently and I had fun with it.
It's just a good, fun, cheesy sword and sorcerer movie.
I do think it's a way better movie than that David Carradine one.
I knew you would probably like that one better than the David Carradine one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is actually a decent film.
Yeah, it's got a story.
And
what's funny is it kind of predates He-Man and how He-Man it is too in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that one scene where what's the main character's name?
Tyrion. What? No,
I
not
forgot
Tyrion.
the
That's
guy with
Game of
the
Thrones.
guy with the swords with the 3
I know it
blades.
starts with a T, but I can't remember
The
it.
part where he like crashes in the window and it's all those naked chicks.
Yeah.
Remember that scene? I was like, literally when I was watching the movie, I just screamed, "Yes,
Yes. That was a good
finally!"
scene.
Because Tom kept saying like, "Oh my God, there's so much TNA in this." I'm like, and for a while I'm like, "Where the fuck's the TNA?" Like I
Well,
started thinking
the main
at
chick, she
first
had
I'm,
a nice ass when they were oiling it up, but
oh I know.
Oh, there's more TNA in the other one though. From
yeah, there's
memory.
and
Because
David
that's the
Carradine.
other one's the one that had the. Or wait, which one is this one? Let me see the cover of this one.
Sword and Sorcerer.
Yeah.
Sorcerer.
Oh no, this is. Or no, this isn't the one I was thinking. Okay, so the other one the David Carradine one is the one that has all the nudity in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was great and all, but this is a way better movie.
Oh yeah, this is a more legitimate film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Richard Kind as the bad guy was awesome.
No, but I thought it was cool. I liked how low budget it was. Just it was fun.
Let me ask you: did it throw you like it threw me and Tom at first? Because it did throw me for a minute there that he was like going to bang his sister.
I don't remember.
Because he was like supposed to be the heir to the throne of that kingdom, and his mom was with the little boy and the little girl, and then
Oh, that's right. That was the one where they did a piss poor job of explaining to you that he wasn't related or whatever.
yeah, because I thought it was like he's supposed to be the heir to the kingdom, and then they're saying this guy's supposed to be the heir of the kingdom, and this is the guy's sister, and I was like, well, wasn't that his brother and his sister in the beginning of the movie? And then they say no. By the end of the movie, no, it was the king's main guy knight. He was their those two's father, and so he basically gives the kingdom to them. So I was like, okay, good, he wasn't banging his sister. Because it confused me for a minute.
I honestly don't remember that. I can't remember that. I'm sorry.
But it's a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I like it. It's the best you're going to get in 4K, because 4K is nothing special, but it's worth it. So
yeah, I know they had that thing in the beginning that said like we couldn't like find the right sound or something. I don't know. I forgot what it said. You know what I'm talking about, right, Greg?
yeah, because it has a humming noise. They couldn't find the audio, the right audio for it. They cleaned it the best they could.
Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
is the original audio in the Blu-ray, I'm guessing?
No, it's the same. It's the same scan on the Blu-ray and the 4K.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And it's the only audio they could. That's the best audio the audio will ever be.
Got it.
Which is, it's not really bad, because once you get into the movie, you don't even notice the little.
I think there's a few spots where it gets really bad, but not too bad. And I think you got a choice between 2 different tracks, right?
Yeah, I think there's another track on the back of it.
Exactly. I think the other one's off like a Laserdisc or a VHS. I can't remember which.
Yeah.
Something like that, but I think that one's in a little better shape, even though it doesn't have as much bass or something to it or something like that. I can't remember which it is.
Yeah. But it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. So, do you like his badass triple sword thing?
Yeah.
That was cool. At first it kind of threw me off in the beginning when he was like younger and he started before he like actually like shot the blades out. I'm like, what the fuck? That thing has 3 blades? I'm like, fuck, man, that's a fucking killer machine right there. And then they shoot out and I'm like, holy shit, that's actually fucking cool.
Yeah, pretty cool. Though it is a kind of a letdown in the end with the final sword fight with it. It kind of gets thrown to the side.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I know. Didn't he like kind of like didn't he like shoot it out and kind of like use the one blade? I was kind of like, really?
Yeah, but it's still fun, man.
Yeah, it was fun. I think the third act is probably my favorite part.
Yeah,
honestly, that's where like it really gets going.
But it's totally worth it if you can get your hands on that 4K. I would get your hands on that 4K, because that is probably the best that movie will ever look, and it'll probably be the last release it ever gets. So
yeah, and I'm glad.
You get to hear Albert. He gives an interview at that time. So
didn't he do a commentary in it as well? Yeah, new audio commentary with Albert Payun. Yeah, and I got it when it was like $20 for that
Yeah, for
Shocktober
the
sale. Same with
Shocktober. I got it on that too.
because I didn't want to buy it for the price that it was. To be honest with you.
I don't blame you. I mean, but like I said though, I was going to buy it either way. I was just glad it went on sale.
Me too.
It's something that I think if you're into that type of movie and you're into his type of movies, and this is probably the best. Like I said, this is the best you're ever going to get from it. So if you want it, I would get it because it's worth it. It's a fun movie. It's a fun watch. I mean, a triple sword, boobs, an old school hero that's like Conan and He-Man. I mean, how awesome is that? You can't go wrong with something like that. So.
Yeah.
Plus, speaking of Star Trek, Bones, Dr. Bones is in the movie. So from the original show, the original. I can't think of the name. I don't know why I can't think of it.
I
The
don't know
original series. Yeah.
I don't know who the fuck that is. I don't watch Star Trek.
DeForest Kelly.
DeForest Kelly. Yes, he's in it. He's in it. Yeah. So that was fun. It was kind of cool seeing him in that movie, different than Star Trek in like that type of era. But yeah, so check it out. Which movie, Tim Hayes? That would be Sword and the Sorcerer. Look at Tom. Okay, you ready for your run? Are you done? You wanna?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, what do you got for us, Tom? It's me and Mario.
Are they the same movie or two different releases?
That's it. Pretty much the same scan from what I can tell, but the newer Umbrella release has the work print on it from the VHS. Work print that's online you could probably find pretty regularly. But it's missing the 5.1 mix that's on this release. Otherwise, they're identical.
Gotcha.
But no, the movie holds up pretty. It's actually a pretty decent scan. Actually, I don't know if it's from the negative, but it looks pretty good for 2K. And I think it's the same scan as this older one. And I've had this one now this one came out in 2014. And this was, I want to say last year or the year before this one came out. Doesn't say on here. Just has a movie date on it. But anyway, regardless, this one, of course, you have to have a region player to play. This one is region free. Although it does say region B on it, it's region free.
Yeah, most of the
you can get a hold of this one
umbrellas
regularly.
are region free.
Yeah. But basically, you're gaining the work print, but sacrificing the 5.1 mix, which frankly is a little bit better than the 2.0 mix. I mean, they're fairly similar, but I think this movie was new enough that they probably had a digital 5.1 mix for it. So either way, the movie itself, I've always kind of liked it. I know it's sacrilege.
Never saw it.
For what it is. It's batshit crazy, especially as you find out from the making of the movie, all the shit that went into it. But yeah, I guess they're working on. Yeah, somebody's working on an edit to where they're trying to edit in some of the footage from the work print and some other stuff that was found into the movie again, which could be interesting.
Yeah.
And Luigi in that movie is the villain in Violent Night.
Oh, John Leguizamo?
Yeah, John Leguizamo. Johnny Legs.
Yeah. Johnny Legs. I mean, he's not Italian, but...
Okay, for Bob Hoskins, brilliant casting, even though Danny DeVito was originally cast and probably should have been
that would
Mario.
have been fan-fucking-tastic.
Bob Hoskins is still an amazing actor who doesn't get enough credit. John Leguizamo, he's okay. Dennis Hopper is fucking brilliant.
I love him. That's
like Dennis Hopper is a fucking god.
He is so good in that
what's
movie.
hilarious about this movie was the stories about him from behind the scenes. Because he was he was I believe he was recently dry. So like he'd come out of rehab and all that business. So he's kind of on his re-establishing himself as an actor business because he didn't do shit throughout like the 80s. But when he got out of rehab and got cleaned up and all that kind of stuff, he kind of hit movies hard because that's when he did like the one we just talked about not too long ago, the the Space Pirates one or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, Space Truckers.
Or Space Truckers. And then he did like Blue Velvet, I think, in this era, if I'm not mistaken, and quite a few other. He was showing them in tons and tons and tons of movies. True Romance, all that kind of shit.
I was gonna say, wasn't True Romance?
Oh, was Blue Velvet in the 80s? Okay, I thought it was a little bit different, but he only made a couple movies in the 80s. He didn't do a lot.
Flashback. He was in Flashback.
Yeah, Flashback was in the 90s, wasn't it? Or is that late?
That was in the 90s. It was like right at the 89-90 mark.
What about when was Speed?
Speed would have been 94.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe 93, 94, somewhere in there.
Okay. I didn't.
So yeah, it was in the middle of all that business. But anyway, so he signed on for this movie. And he got pissed because they kept changing the script every day. And, and rightfully so. He got to the point where they'd hand him the script pages, he'd throw them right in the garbage. And somebody asked, well, what'd you do that for? He goes, because they're going to change by the end of the fucking day anyway. And the other thing he would do is he has the little thing he's doing like this.
Yeah, with the T-Rex hands, like.
They told him not to do that. He's like, fuck that, I'm doing it. Because I'm a T-Rex. And that's what he needed. That it's the fucking character, right? It makes part of the character. The little idiosyncrasies that the word I'm looking for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That he has as Koopa. It's all Dennis Hopper. It's just so brilliant. He steals every fucking scene he's and that's tough to do when you got Fisher Stevens in a scene with you.
Right.
And him and the guy playing Spike have a nice little rapport going on. Mm-hmm. And so like you got those two working together off of him. He still steals the scenes. That's saying a lot. So like the cast is brilliant. The story is lost in the minutia of what it was supposed to be. But in the end of the day, what you have is a really cool cyberpunk movie. It's a really bad Mario Brothers movie. Yeah, but you got to give them credit. At this time, they didn't have the really a basis to go off of. You had a couple of animated shows, and they all had various different kinds of. From my recollection, they didn't even have the same continuity. And so at that point, Nintendo didn't really have a Bible for Mario. The only thing I feel like there was a missed opportunity in this is since you had the de-evolution gun and the de-evolution machine, and he keeps talking about how humans turn into apes or come from apes or whatever. They should have had a human bad guy in it too. The Scapelli guy, he should have became Donkey Kong.
That would have been awesome.
Wouldn't that have been hilarious? Especially considering with him and Mario have the whole thing, that even got, because that's the thing. The work print is nothing special. Like there's just like a few extra scenes and bits and takes here and there. It's nothing that really changes the movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like just a little bit more of Spike and Iggy working with the boys. There's a little bit more about the Scapelli, why they don't like him. Because they steal the job from him and stuff like that. Like there's just a little bit more of that kind of shit. Otherwise, I wouldn't say the work print's anything to go like, oh my god, about it.
Yeah, because I remember when people they said they found the VHS with it stuff. It's like, and then like nobody ever really talked about what was on that VHS.
Yeah, it's a very late work print.
So I was like, so it must not have been nothing really too exciting on that VHS.
Nothing truly stands out because I skipped through it finally because I got so bored because I'm like, this is all the same thing as the movie. I'm like. Just little bits and pieces here and there. What's funny is all the music in the movie is made up mostly of Roger Rabbit music in the work print. And Pee Wee Herman's, and I think a little bit of Batman. Batman Returns, I think. And because then Alan Silvestri ended up doing the soundtrack anyway, and then you hear his soundtrack, and it's like, yeah, it sounds a lot like his Roger Rabbit soundtrack. That's why, But like, yeah, that's another thing I noticed while watching the work print. But no, it's a great movie for what it is. I know it's not beloved by Mario fans, but it does have a cult following.
I always enjoyed it, even though I know it's.
I never saw it. I always thought it looked really bad, so I'm just like I just never had interest.
You had a situation where you had the people who made Max Headroom as the directors. And they wanted to do a dark cyberpunk movie. Everybody who cared about Mario was like, well, that's not what Mario's about. So they kept trying to rewrite it to make it more like Mario. And then the budget got slashed, so they had to rewrite everything within the budget. So it had like 8 or 9 writers. And Ed Sullivan's one of the few writers who's actually listed as a writer, and he said none of his shit's in the movie as far as he knows, but he's never seen the movie. So
here's my question. Like you say that they were trying to make it into a cyberpunk movie, like they were trying to make a Mario movie into a cyberpunk movie.
I know it sounds batshit crazy, doesn't it?
It does, but you know what? It actually kind of works if you watch it.
Well, hold on a second. Like, answer this question: did they play the fucking game?
I don't think so.
Did they not play the fucking game? Like,
I really don't think so.
No, I don't think
The directors, no. I really don't think so. They did not want to make a Mario Brothers movie. That's clear. Yeah. That's clear as fucking day.
Because here's the thing. Like, if you're working on a project like that, like at that time, like just visit.
You had another problem here, Rudder. I didn't get to finish though. Nintendo didn't give a shit.
Yeah, they
didn't care. They didn't fucking care what they did, because as far as they were concerned, it had nothing to do with them. This is why after that though, they have battened down the hatches and they have complete creative control over everything because of this fucking movie.
I understand that, but like it doesn't hurt to take a visit to the fucking arcade, you know?
What's worse is it had Disney behind it.
Oh yeah, was it Hollywood Pictures?
Well, yeah, because what happened was initially they shopped it all around and people wanted it. They were interested in it. And I think the only reason people were interested in it is because Ninja Turtles had just hit big.
Yeah.
Because before that, people didn't even want to touch Ninja Turtles because of what happened with He-Man. And I think that, you know, because you got to remember at this point, there had been no video game movies. Like the closest to video game movies would have been like Last Starfighter. Yeah. And people didn't really like go to flock to see that, unfortunately. It became more of a hit on video. So at that time, they were looking at it as like, yeah, we're not so sure about this, I'm sure. I think Ninja Turtles is part of the reason. So when they heard a little bit more darker take, they were probably like, yeah, go with that. Like,
yeah, I believe it. And considering that Princess Peach is actually Princess Daisy, which is the evil princess in the Mario game in the movie.
Yeah,
I don't know if
I remember looking up. Yeah,
no, I don't think that was connection, but I find it funny that.
And Spike is one of is actually the name of one of Koopa's kids, but he's one of his cousins in the movie.
Yeah,
I remember looking at like images of it. I'm even looking at them now. I'm like, why does this blonde chick?
Toad is probably the weirdest character in the movie. Like, when you really think about it.
Yeah, the way that they do him,
the way they treat him is kind of the weirdest of all the characters. But yeah.
Yeah,
it is really like it's like basically like Blade Runner meets an LSD trip.
Pretty much.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is they had this dichotomy where they wanted the brothers to be varying ages to where basically Mario's more like a father figure than a brother.
Yeah. But it's, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I do like the movie.
I do. As a movie, it's weird. And like I said, at that time, from the games that we had, because I think we did have Mario World was the newest game at that time. So we had 4 basic Mario games. And we didn't really, you know, like I said, they didn't really have a set kind of universe. So like for what they pulled in it and the little Easter eggs here and there, like the bombs and all the little things they do have, you know, in it, and even like the Evo gun basically being the super scope, you know, just little things in there. Like for a Nintendo fan, there was bits and pieces. Like it was weird because I didn't realize people didn't like it until a couple years after it came out.
Me too. Isn't like even the glove in it, the Nintendo glove?
It might be in one scene that I don't remember.
It's like cyberpunked up real much.
Yeah, somebody might have wear it. But that's the other thing. The original idea had everything from hookers and pimps to crazy shit. It was going to be like borderline PG-13 close to R. Because at that time, Nintendo didn't give a shit. But then Disney got involved at the last minute because this other company that picked up the rights, they gave Nintendo the best bid, basically, and they didn't have the money to finish the fucking movie, so Disney got involved, which did help. Like, that's the thing. There's no excuse for the movie. Disney did get behind the movie and advertise it. You had toys. You had bubblegum cards. You had books. You had everything, T-shirts, posters, you name it, to push this movie. It was just the movie sucked. And I mean, I remember some of my friends not liking it, but they were like, I couldn't quite get it because like they were my older friends. And I'm like, what's wrong with it? Because at that point, I didn't really have like that prejudgment thing in my head yet, I guess, is the best way to put it. Like, I didn't have a preconceived notion going into it outside. Yeah, I'd seen all the cartoons, but I was kind of like a realist. I knew they would never be able to do something like the cartoons.
I remember watching the cartoons as a kid.
And the movies, to me, at that point, I was used to the movie being something different. Like, not exactly, because like between He-Man and Ninja Turtles by that point, I was also conditioned to know that, yeah, the movies were kind of a different animal. Same or even here. Garbage Pail Kids, for that matter.
Captain America and the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, well, I didn't see Fantastic Four yet, but yeah.
Yeah, I knew that, well, pretty much I knew that they weren't going to be the same as what you read or saw. So, but it never bothered me, even though...
my bad.
What?
No, my bad. I didn't know you were still talking.
Oh,
yeah, Big Bertha was actually a hooker in the original script, if I remember right.
And she ends up with hitting on Mario in that.
The only other thing that should have been is Mario's girlfriend should have been named Pauline. Because that's the name of the character in Donkey Kong, which would have also been perfect if you'd had Scapelli turn into Donkey Kong.
That would have been nice.
Like, and at the construction site thing, no less. Then, like, he goes and skip, like, you'd have had a little Donkey Kong moment at the end. That'd have been hilarious. I wonder if
maybe they actually sort of had it planned, but just couldn't.
Oh, that would have been awesome as fuck. Because then if you had Donkey Kong on one side, and then you have fucking, because that's the only other bit that's kind of cut out. I mean, it's still in the movie, but it's not really explained really well. Is that when Mario and Luigi shove Koopa into the de-evolution machine, in the movie as it is, you get a kind of an idea that he got kind of fucked with, but in the cutscenes, there's a little bit more of that where he keeps going de-evolving throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of getting these ticks. So it's kind of like, I mean, it's in the movie still, but it's not as prominent. Prevalent, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Like, you know, where his eyes keep changing and he keeps getting the whole lizard tongue thing. Like, that's all because of he's de-evolving or whatever. So, like, that's the only other bit you kind of get from the thing. But then he completely de-evolves at the end when he gets blasted. Because then that would have been awesome, too, as if you had a Donkey Kong versus Koopa fight. That would have been like King Kong versus Godzilla kind of thing. That would have been kind of cool. And then, like, Mario would have been just like, hell, let them fight.
Yeah, let him fight. And
I want to do a new version
now.
Like Yoshi I want to do a remake of the Mario Brothers movie. And they'll be like, what, you want to make a Mario movie? I'm like, no, I want to remake the Mario Brothers movie.
And this time, I'm going to have Donkey Kong.
And this time, this is going to be the end. Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be exactly the same. Exactly. Then it would turn into Rampage. Oh, right. Yeah. See? You get me.
I actually own the Rock's Rampage movie, and it's nothing like the game.
And you know what would have been even funnier is at the end, in the end credits scene, you know, you have Daisy come back and say, you guys won't believe this or whatever. You actually have a scene where they jump back through the time portal and then they stumble upon a guy and they turn around and it's Link.
That would have been awesome. A whole little Nintendo world.
He's like, who are you guys? Like, yeah.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
That I would have, yeah. See, that's how you do that shit.
Yeah.
How could it be Daisy if it looks and dresses up like Princess Peach? You know what I mean?
Well, you can have her go bad, because that's the other thing too. Is remember that even though she's from Earth and was raised on Earth, she was one of the dinosaur peoples.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that kept tripping me. One of the reasons why I never watched it and never wanted to was like the designs of the Koopas and the Yoshi.
None of that made sense to me either.
I could see it why, you know, you guys would like it. I just
I guess maybe
you probably had to be there, Runner. Yeah, exactly. Like you're so far removed and you've played so many different Mario games now. Like, I understand. Like,
yeah,
I totally understand. Like, it is a way different animal now, and I know they would never approach it the same way. They would never make it the same way now. Clearly, but I mean,
yeah,
I'm surprised they're doing an animated version and not a live action version, really, considering CGI and all that business. But hey, I mean, for those Mario fans, I'm glad they're finally getting the movie they probably deserve. Hopefully, it's good.
Honestly, I think at this point, I think going with a more 3D animated version is the smarter choice. Let's be honest here. That
I
is a
can
Oh
see
smarter
yeah, for
that.
the
choice than
fan
live
base,
action.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because like there are like obviously some video game adaptations that obviously work better in live action, like because I mean the whole idea of the video game movie genre is starting to like slowly build up and become a thing, but a lot of them have been like pretty much complete garbage. Let's be honest here. Like like fucking I know you guys like that new Mortal Kombat movie. I fucking hate it. The Uncharted movie wasn't good. Not as
You
bad
know,
as Mortal
come
Kombat,
to
but it's
think
not
of
good.
it, we probably like the new Mortal Kombat movie because it reminds us of like this Mario Brothers type movie. Because
Well, that's the
back
thing. It
in
was like, yeah, like if
yeah,
Dan said if we would get an R-rated movie, then oh fuck, we'd have been eating that shit alive.
yeah,
And that's
Well,
what I was
here's
saying when I'm watching the Mortal Kombat movie. It's like, yeah, I love the original. I have a nostalgic fuzz for it. But if I'd have got this Mortal Kombat movie when I was 15, I'd have pissed my pants.
yeah,
no, I understand, like, and I understand what you're talking about because, like, I when the idea of a rated R Mortal Kombat movie was like becoming a thing at Warner Brothers and all that, when I heard that was announced, I was like, holy shit!
It
Like,
also helps that I
you're
don't
gonna
have the hang up of all the lore from the
me
games
too.
too, which I know isn't necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, and here and
So
here's
Yeah,
here's the thing about the lore thing, and Tom's even mentioned this when arguing with other people that I've seen on like other streams. Like you've mentioned like, oh, what lore? And it's like my problem isn't so much the lore because it's like it's kind of fucked up, but the idea of what Mortal Kombat is supposed to be is not in the fucking movie. Like you're calling it Mortal Kombat, but there's nothing. Like the story is nothing to do with Mortal Kombat.
it's true.
Like
But
like you can understand why that pisses off fans,
I
right?
get you. It was what it pisses you guys off. Yeah, I get it. But
Like
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 with
like
the
here's the thing. Like my reaction to that new Mortal Kombat movie is kind of like Tom's reaction to how he approaches a movie like Man of Steel. And I'm not trying to get into the
I
Zack
get it. I
Snyder
totally
shit.
get it. But also at the
Like
same time, like to me, you have a situation where it all depends on which character you play. It seems like what the
yeah
lore
the
is. But
story.
like,
Yeah,
no,
who
no,
they
but here's the thing. Like you have Scorpion in that movie, right? Who is arguably the best part of that fucking thing. Like he
yeah,
was great. Um and like you have
I
this
should get
whole
you the original script. If you read the original script, you'd probably agree. If they kept the original ending and some other things that they changed, it
well,
probably would have been a better movie.
wasn't the original ending gonna have Cole as Scorpion?
Yes, he was going to become Scorpion.
See, I'm not a huge fan of that either.
What's the difference? Scorpion's already dead. So he just takes the mantle of Scorpion. He's just Scorpion. What's the difference?
Yeah, but
It's the
I'm
same
sorry.
bloodline or whatever. That's fine. I mean, that to
I,
me
I
feels
don't
more whole than him being generic new Mortal Kombat character
yeah with plot armor.
with
I
literal plot armor. That's one thing I
Plot
will
armor.
agree with.
well,
Like that is horrible.
that's my problem with the movie in general is
No, and I agree with
I
you
don't
there. Like it
I don't
does
I
fall
don't
off the rails at the last minute, but yeah.
I just don't think the characters should just exist in general, and the idea of someone taking on the mantle of Scorpion
Well,
right
in that
away.
case, it's not really a mantle. It's more of a Scorpion origin story if you
We
really
live
look
through
at it.
Street Fighter. We get it, runner. We live through Street Fighter.
Yes, we get it. Yes.
Well,
Yes.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I
Like in the '90s,
listen. Well,
when
hold
somebody
on.
they say like we're going to do a Super Mario Brothers
Yeah,
movie,
like you think Super
and,
Mario is bad? It's like, here, hold my beer. Here's
and
Double
they didn't
Dragon.
like,
Here, hold my beer. Here's fucking Street Fighter.
and they
Like,
weren't like
Street Fight.
they weren't
Listen,
like gearing towards kids. Like every movie now is pretty much geared towards kids. Back then, they would like try to make sure that the parents and the kids get it, whether it was batshit crazy, spot on or not. They was just like, here's this movie.
and that's why I think Mortal Kombat is so beloved. And you're right. I don't know if that's where you're going with it, Greg, but at that time when we got Mortal Kombat, that was the first one that's like, oh my God, it's actually the fucking game.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
instead
yeah,
of being,
that here. Well, let me say something real quick. First of all, Dan Blackraid, I could give less of a shit about Street Fighter. Never cared. I tried getting into it. I was always a Mortal Kombat guy because of the blood and shit. and it
That's
just had to
fair,
look.
but
It,
you got to
and
understand.
plus, I like the characters more in Mortal Kombat.
There
than
was a
Street
time where there was no Mortal Kombat runner. All we had was Street Fighter. So you got to
Yeah.
understand,
No,
like
no,
that
no,
was the
no, no.
precursor. Like, yeah,
I
Yeah.
understand. I understand, and as bad as the Street Fighter movie is, I enjoy the shit out of it. Probably because of John Claude Van Damme, but that's a whole other story. And I can understand why there are fans of that hate that. But when I go to the original Mortal Kombat movie that was made by New Line, to me, when I saw that, I was like, I don't get me wrong, I had a few problems with that movie, and I'm not going to get into that. But like, just the story overall, I'm like, okay, these guys actually understand the whole point of what Mortal Kombat is, and it got most of the characters right.
we only had 2 games at that point too.
Now I understand, and to go to the new movie, like there's a lot I can pick off of that where I'm like, okay, like I like the worst part of that movie to me, honestly, is not the Cole character; it's Raiden. That's
I agree. Like
completely off
there's some good to bad casting in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I
there's
also
some-
look at it stepping back, knowing that they're setting up like a trilogy as well. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm being a little bit more lenient with it.
And here's the thing: I know they already greenlit the second movie, and I'm willing to give that a chance if they're actually gonna do it right, because actually make it a tournament, because that's
Well,
what
that's
Mortal
what it
Kombat
seems
is
like
in
it's leading up
Yeah,
to
that's
it.
like what it's building up to.
Well, that's my problem. Is it should have been that right away if you're.
But
gonna
then you
call it
can't do
Mortal
a
Kombat.
sequel.
I understand,
Yes,
and
you
yeah.
can.
Well, then you get Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah.
Well, you listen. You do not have to do Mortal Kombat Annihilation. No.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I get it. I
you
get
can-
what they're doing.
Yeah.
I understand people's being upset about it, though. But yeah,
the difference with I mean, maybe it's just me because I'm a fan. I'm like, as a fan, it's like I could write something better than what I got, and I could make like a script where you can start with the first one, see how it goes. You try to introduce whatever characters you can, not overbloat it, but you start to introduce characters as you start writing more movies, whatever. Like that's what I would have done. And you could
see, and that's my biggest
you could
issue with
still-
Cole is like, if you're going to introduce this character like this, why not make him Scorpion, right?
Yeah.
That's the only
I
thing
mean-
that didn't make sense to me. But yeah,
I don't know. I just think like if you're gonna have Scorpion in it, you gotta keep Hanzo Hasashi, at least to me, because that is Scorpion to me.
I understand. It's fair,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to argue it because I'm
Yeah,
not
I
like
agree.
huge into the lore and shit.
I also don't like the way they portrayed Sonya. They kind of like.
Well, she was like, yeah, like they went too far in the original and they went another direction here, but yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is like she's supposed to be like this badass.
Well, she was
and
horrible in the original movie. People give that Bridget, whatever her name is, too much fucking credit.
She was hot, but
Yeah, she was a horrible actress. There's a reason why she didn't make any more
Yeah.
movies.
Well, she wasn't good acting wise. She wasn't good in that, but like at least that was more Sonya.
She was
than
just
in
lucky
the
she was in
new
Billy
movie.
Madison in Mortal Kombat. Just like,
Yes. I mean,
Well, no, okay. Like you can say that she's not a good actress, but at least like writing wise, that was more Sonya than the one we got.
Yeah,
the one-
yeah,
I-
no,
I-
like
I
again,
honestly
the
can't
first
tell.
movie.
So, 'cause
Here's the
I'm-
thing: the first movie is good, but then it has issues in the third act, or roughly so, because they went and rewrote a bunch of it, and there's 2 or 3 bits where they don't really resolve. Like, if I remember right, like you have the fight with Scorpion and Johnny Cage, you don't really see it resolve. They like flash in the last part, and then you don't see him again until like a later part, and then you don't see the whole. Like, there's some bits in it and pieces of it that are like fucked up. I can't remember because I watched it like last year or whatever when a new one came out, and I made some notes, but I don't remember them all. But I anyway, Mario Brothers, I get it. It is what it is.
Yeah, I get it.
Let's move on.
Okay, let's go to me.
To answer the R-rated question, though, it would have been worse than it was because they would have panicked at the last minute and cut it down.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no way we would have ever gotten an R-rated Mario Brothers movie. They just wouldn't have. It just wouldn't have happened.
True. All
So
right,
even if they would have gotten it past that point and, they sent it in for rating and they got an R, the studio would have made them recut it.
definitely.
Which is
So
basically why we got to rewrite from the start. So anyway, what do you got first, Greg?
yeah. Okay. My next pick is Nick fucking Cage.
About fucking time.
About that. I finally got it for Christmas. The unbearable weight of massive
Yay.
talent. This movie was fun. I love this movie. It was really, really good. I had a great time watching it, and it helped. It helped with everything that went on this weekend and the Christmas and everything.
Mhm.
So it helped me relax and just have a good fucking laugh because this was an awesome movie.
I knew you'd like it.
It was good. Nick Cage smooches are the best. So,
Nick Cage, which is good.
because this is good. It was just a fun movie. It was. I really felt like a Nick Cage. I know it's weird saying this that it's a Nick Cage movie, but it felt like a Nick Cage movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know he's played. It felt like it could be very much in the vein of all like the movies that he put out, and all like Face Off, all that, and then like what it comes down to, like what we talked about earlier on 4K for you, is this like when you realize what the movie is all about by the time it gets to the end and what happens is it's just hilarious. It's just like it is a great movie. Nicolas Cage is just
it's a really fun movie.
And I love that they actually had a reference to Mandy in that movie because I was curious if they would have any references to his like straight to video movies that he's been doing like that.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool that they had a Mandy reference.
I mean, I do like that they like they do pick on the idea of like, like he's like, people keep telling me that I'm like in too many things and I work a lot and all that, and him like spending a ton of money and stuff. So I do like that they like kind of like make fun of that. And by the way, speaking of Nick Cage, I watched a few days ago, I watched Con Air for the first time. I fucking loved it.
That's funny you bring that up.
Because it's in like the very beginning.
That this might make another appearance for my final pick.
Oh, no shit.
But this was a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I loved the references. I loved the leaving Las Vegas reference when he jumps into the pool and he dives in after him and picks him up.
I even liked the National Treasure reference where
Mm-hmm.
what's his name? Pedro Pascal's character is telling him like oh, like can't you just run to that truck right there? And he's like no, I can't do that. And whatever, like he doesn't want to do it, and he's like, but you sprinted in National Treasure, and he's like, oh, that was the stunt man.
That did crack me up in that because he said you're faster than me, and then I'm like, I'm watching this movie, and like Nicolas Cage can't run in this movie. He was, you can tell he was getting a little long in the tooth in his running. He couldn't run too fast.
He couldn't run like he did in National Treasure. No.
Yeah. But it was a fun movie. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the performances. I think Nick Cage was awesome in this movie, and I thought it was pretty funny that you got to see like his younger self. That was weird, but it was fun.
Young Nick Cage.
Young Nick Cage,
like,
Nicky.
Nicky, yeah, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie.
I just love it. Like in the beginning, when he's like, "I don't need this right now from you, Nicky. Get out of my car!" And he's just sitting in the middle of the road, and nobody's in the car but him.
Yeah,
Johnny Cage. I'm here to kick some ass in Mortal Kombat.
There you go. That's perfect. That's a perfect Johnny Cage for the sequel.
I didn't want to wear the biker shorts. Show off my giblets.
The only thing that would have made this movie better was if they had like a John Travolta cameo in this movie. That would have been awesome, like to go along with everything.
It's Nicolas Cage.
That would have been awesome.
I
haven't seen you since we made Face Off. It'd be really funny if they're making Face Off too. Like,
that would have been awesome.
Because
there.
Even though I think that I heard there's actual talks to do a Face Off too, which I can't fucking believe.
Yeah, the guy that did Godzilla vs Kong is supposedly
that'd be so redonkulous if they do. But like,
it'd be a cool cameo. It'd be a cool cameo.
What?
If, like, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, you said what? Like you couldn't hear me. What's his fucking name? Jerry Bruckheimer. That's who. Like he'd be a great cameo because he
Sadly, we
produced.
got David Gordon Green as a cameo, which was at
Oh, he
one
was
point in
in
time
it.
I would have found that would have been pretty cool. But after Halloween ends, I was like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well. But here's the thing, like especially the shit he said after Halloween ends, like fuck that guy.
Excuse me. No, I don't think there'll ever be a National Treasure 3. Disney's moved on. Nicolas Cage himself has said that once you're down and out and the people turned on him
Did,
from Disney,
didn't
that he'd
didn't
probably never go back. So
didn't Jerry Bruckheimer recently say that he was trying to get Nicolas Cage to do a National Treasure 3 or something?
he may have been tried, but I don't think Nick Cage will do it.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, like Jerry Bruckheimer would have been like a fun cameo in that movie because like it would be funny if he like met with him one day and was like talking to him about like ideas for sequels or whatever. Like that would have been
Yeah,
kind of funny
yeah.
because he was like he was a
No
producer.
Francis Ford Coppola cameo. No.
I wanted that. I wanted that so bad. Well, not so much him, but like just like the idea of him like kind of like being a part of that family. I'm
It would
surprised
have
they
been
didn't
fun.
reference that at all.
Well, they did. His cousin did call him Coppola in the movie.
I don't
The
remember. I don't
Pedro
remember.
Pascal's cousin when they
I
reveal that he's the bad guy.
I
Spoilers.
don't. I I don't remember that.
Yeah, he says how's hanging like with Francis Coppola or something like that. He calls him or something like that.
I don't remember that.
It's when they're eating Fruit Loops. Um,
I don't remember the Fruit Loops.
you have to go back and watch that scene, but it was fun. And as for Face Off 2, according to the director of Godzilla vs Kong, it's going to be a sequel. He would never remake or reboot it, so we'll see how that plays out. um, but I loved all the references to the Nick Cage movies. I loved that scene when he's like, "You paid money for this grotesque thing." The statue of him that's holding the golden guns, and he wants to buy it for $20,000 off of it because he loved it. I loved that scene. It was funny. But it was fun. It was fun watching. Yes, for those of you out there who would Pedro Pascal is in this, said, yes, the guy in real life is a dickhead.
Yeah,
But
he
this
is.
movie, if you could separate the art from the artist, this is a fun movie. It's a great buddy movie. It's a great comedy. It legitimately goes from like a family drama to a buddy comedy to an action flick, all in one movie, just like Nicolas Cage's career. So
There's something to that.
yeah, that's what actually I watched the special features and they actually said that's what they went for, to try to like, it starts as like an avant-garde family independent drama into like this into that, and they said that Nick Cage was the only one that could make that work in this movie. So yeah.
I asked Greg what he like got for Christmas like backstage, and then I asked him like did you get any like new movies or whatever, and he was like, yeah, I got one brand new one that like came out this year or whatever. So I tried to like guess what he got, and I got them all wrong, and I totally forgot about that fucking movie.
Yeah, and this is the 4K, so
I have the 4K Steelbook.
I know I got this, but I'm fine with it.
That's
So
a cool cover.
yeah, it's a
That
nice
is
little
that is a
clip.
cool
So.
cover. And that
I
was like
liked it.
$10. That was like $10 on Best Buy for Black Friday.
I got it. Well, I don't know how much I got it for, but I know it was going for $7.99 on Amazon.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. So I don't know how much I got it for because it was a Christmas gift, but I would assume that it was either from there or Best Buy, whoever bought it. So, but it was a blast. Like I said, I really would have liked a John Travolta cameo. I think that would have been pretty funny. I think that would have been the cherry on the cake in the movie. But other than that, it was a blast. It was a blast of a film. It was something cool, and I do like the fact that they sort of rip on Star Wars and Marvel movies in it. They do sort of say that, and it is a movie that you typically don't get to see a whole lot of nowadays. When they're out there, you got to find them, but they used to be prevalent. You used to have a variety where you didn't have to search for movies like The Massive Weight of Unbearable Talent here. So
You didn't say the movie title right, boy.
yeah, I know, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
There you go.
But it was fun. It was a fun watch. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I was glad I got it. So yeah. Good night, Brian Barth. Thank you for hanging with us. Yeah, take care.
I knew you'd like it.
Yeah. So I would. You already ruined my final pick. Thank you very much, Runner.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I had no idea.
Tom, you want to go next?
Isn't it my turn?
I know, but
what?
Since you might,
it's fine. He can go.
Okay.
Wait,
I just might have to run after my last one.
Yeah. So go on, Runner.
Actually, no. Tom, let Tom go. Actually, because we're probably going to talk about this for a while if I go.
All right, if you want to.
Yeah, let Tom
go on, Tom.
All right. Well, I just got this in the mail today, and I watched it today, and I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and it holds up pretty well. It's War Games.
Nice.
The John Badham classic with Ali Sheedy and what's his face, Matthew Broderick, Dabney Coleman. It's a fun movie. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but
I have.
I haven't seen it.
I got the. I still got the bad Blu-ray.
Would you like to play a game?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's funny how of all the hacker movies we've had over the years, even though some of the stuff that he wasn't technically able to do at the time this movie came out, almost all of it's legit or became actual. And this movie kind of prompted a lot of hackers to do shit they probably shouldn't be doing. But have you ever seen it, Runner?
No, I said no, I haven't.
Sorry.
I've wanted to for a long time, and there are some of those on the Best Buy shelves, but God damn it, I have to pay like $30 fucking.
Yeah, it's not cheap. It's a decent scan.
Go on Amazon. It's $25 right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd wait for it to go on sale though, probably because I don't think it's
on sale right now on Amazon.
But no, it's a good movie. It's basically about this kid who's pretty good with computers. And he hacks into the school and a few other things he does. And then while he's trying to hack into this company who's bringing out a new computer to see what games they have, he accidentally hacks into NORAD. Yeah. And he starts playing a game with the computer that runs all the nuclear weapons. And basically, the game is intent. The computer is intent on finishing the game.
Yep. Thermal nuclear war.
Thermal nuclear war. Yes, it is tongue in cheek, but like one of those movies that really makes you wonder, like, should we really rely that much on technology?
Exactly.
And it is kind of it's funny because the director went on to make Short Circuit, I believe next, or at least not next, if not one of the next movies he made. And this is kind of a precursor to that and the whole idea of, how far AI can go. And stuff like that. So like it's a very interesting film. It's very ahead of its time in a lot of ways. So yeah, it's a very well done piece. That's all I can say about it. Other than
I used to always get this one confused with Cloak and Dagger when I was younger. I used to confuse both of them
because of Dabney Coleman.
Yeah, because of Dabney Coleman. That's why I used to confuse it. But yeah, I love that, and I've been looking to get the 4K because I have the Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray is not very good. I mean, it's decent, but I'd much rather have that scan that you got.
Well,
right
I'm sure
there.
It's an older one. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's total, but it's great. Yes, Ali Sheedy is awesome in it, and Matthew Broderick before he was like annoying.
Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller was a great movie. Oh yeah, he does, doesn't he? Michael Madsen.
Yep.
Cameo at the start is funny. Yeah.
And it also has a connection to video games because he loves video games. So we introduced to him in an arcade playing Galaga.
That man is playing Galaga.
Oh, we couldn't see. But we did.
But it is a fun movie. I enjoy it.
We wouldn't notice.
Uh, it is a fun game though. Fun game. I said game. It's a fun movie. It is a fun movie. And
How
Gallagher.
about a nice game of chess?
Yes. Why? It does. It really is like a more I don't want to say morality lesson, but it is really like a lesson to be learned about what computers can do, what they can achieve, and what they can end up controlling, and
Yeah.
how. I mean, seriously, they're making computers now that play chess that played on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Yeah, so it's very much of a tale of like this shit could happen in a lot of ways. That some of it did happen throughout the years, that, like you
Yes.
said. So yeah, it's a good movie, and if you have not seen it, I do recommend it. And as far as I do know, as last I checked on Blu-ray.com, this was on sale for like 24 or something on Amazon at the moment.
But I'm
So,
sure it'll eventually go on like a shout sale, so I wouldn't
yeah,
get too
yeah,
Yeah,
worried about it. But yeah,
that's the thing.
and it
Like,
doesn't
there's
have a
few
slip
things-
cover or nothing, so you're not
Yeah.
gonna miss out on anything.
That's the
And
thing.
it
with-
appears like most of the special features, if not all of them, are from the old DVD, Blu-ray, or whatever. Anyway, so
Is this a
Yeah.
Shout Select title?
no, surprisingly, it's
Really?
not. It's just a standard shout release.
Huh.
Yeah.
Usually they do like the Shout Selects like that. So
You would think it would be a shout select.
yeah.
It makes sense, but no, it's not. But no, the scan overall is pretty good. There's a couple of shots in the movie that are just oddball shots that seemingly don't come from the negative, and you can clearly tell, but most of the movie seems to come from the negative. And yeah, I mean, the soundtrack, you get both 2.0 and 5.1. I watched it in 5.1, and it seemed to have a little bit more ambience to it.
Cool. All right. I'm definitely gonna have to check that one out. Now I'm gonna have to watch, like, I got Cloak and Dagger 2 from you. Now I'm gonna have to watch that too. Like, I'm getting all these movies like War Games, Cloak and Dagger, Modern Problems, Boomerang, that I haven't seen in years that I need to get to now. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I saw it a few times, like when it like released, and I saw it in like the shelves and all that. And man, I mean, they like my Best Buy has been going, or just maybe other Best Buys in general have been like going really crazy with the Shout stuff or the Scream Factory stuff, and it's like, God damn it, I can't afford all this shit. It's insane. Like they
It's
even
an
have
expensive hobby.
they started with they started now bringing in some of the recent 4K releases for Criterion as well, which is kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
And they've done a little bit of Arrow as well, which is great.
Actually, Tyrell, Cloak and Dagger just got a nice new 4K from Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's out on 4K
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Vinegar Syndrome.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Indeed. Do.
All right, who's
Is that
turn
the
is
other
it
one
now?
maybe that Badam did? That
Oh,
could
shit.
be.
It could be. I don't know.
'Cause I swear he had to have done at least one movie in between Short Circuit and this, because this came out in 83. And Short Circuit's 86. You would think he'd have done at least one or two movies in between there. I know he... I'm trying to think.
Let's
Maybe
find
he
out.
didn't, but...
The director, right? Let's see. If I can figure it all out without getting dead air here.
Yeah, well, while you're looking for that, yeah, I don't think I'm going to have to go anywhere. Sorry. I didn't mean
You
to
sure?
jump with a gun there. Yeah, I don't look like it.
All right.
Okay, because
good.
considering my next pick, you're probably gonna want to stay. Knowing you would want to stay.
Maybe.
No? He
No,
did
it's not a
American
maybe.
Flyer. So he did War Games, American Flyer, Short Circuit, Stakeout.
Oh, so he did Stakeout and American Flyer in between then. Okay.
He did Stakeout after Short Circuit. And
Oh, he did that
American
after
Flyer's
Short
in
Circuit?
between.
I thought that was earlier. Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
no, yeah. It says American Flyers is in 1985 after War Games, Short Circuit in 1986, and Stakeout in 1987.
Was War Games 84 or was that 83?
It says 83 on here.
Okay, I thought it was 83, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, this transfer looks pretty good for 83, so.
He also did Bird on the Wire with Mel Gibson and Goldie
Yeah, he's
Hawn.
done a lot of good movies. Saturday Night
Yeah.
Fever.
Yeah. He's good. I can't believe I didn't realize that guy's name that he did all those movies. All right. So since Runners claims we're going to be talking a lot about his
Yeah.
last pick, I'll show you my pick since he already ruined mine. So how do I get through this life without... I don't remember the song.
Put the bunny down. That's funny because that's what I was gonna say earlier on 4K for you, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, put the bunny in the box.
Why couldn't you just leave the bunny in the box?
Dude,
Yeah, good cut
his
area.
accent was so fucking good in that movie. Like,
That's like a Nick Cage thing. He legitimately does a different accent for every movie he's in, even
Like,
though he sounds the same most in every movie. He's
That's
in.
probably his best one of his best.
Yeah, that's
movies
his
there.
best
I
Southern,
don't know about
like-
best, but like, yeah, it's a good movie.
I mean, it's definitely one of his best acting. I'd say, like his acting is so fucking good in that movie.
It is. It's a
Like-
great movie.
Like
And you know
see,
what?
like you see him in movies like that, and it's like that. Like Nick Cage was like a legitimate movie star at that.
Not that he went anywhere. Not that he went
Well,
anywhere.
No, but like
That's
know.
that's from The Massive Weight. That's what he says.
I know, but like, let's be honest. Like in real life, Nicolas Cage, like, he's not what he was at the time.
I don't know, man. I love Mandy. I loved Willy's Wonderland. Those were great movies. I've heard a
Yeah,
lot of people
yeah.
like Pig, even though I never watched it. But I don't think he
I
ever
haven't
really
seen-
did go anywhere. He just did smaller films, is all.
No, I
Of
know-
course,
I
he had
know.
IRS, but
No, I know he did smaller films and stuff because he spent a shit ton of money and wanted to get more.
Buscemi does. When
He's-
they bring
he-
him in,
he's
like
great.
Hannibal Lecter onto the plane. That is a great scene. I love that scene.
That was
It's got a
awesome.
great, fantastic cast to it other than John Cusack, but it's a great movie.
It's another one though that for some reason on DVD we got an extended cut, but we didn't get it on Blu-ray.
No, we did not get on this. There is no extended cut. You're right. You're right on that.
It is does the Blu-ray even look good? Because it's
Yeah,
from
it looks
Disney,
fine.
right?
Looks all right. It's an
Looks
earlier
good.
Blu-ray. But
Yeah, it's one of the. I mean, this movie, The Rock, and Gone in 60 Seconds are all this with this like here. They're all
Yeah.
decent, but
Yeah.
and Gone in 60
Um,
Seconds actually is the hardest one to find of them.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's not hard like OP or anything like that, but it's. I guess it was one of his better received flicks or whatever, so it's a little harder to get a copy of that. It sells out pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I watched it recently actually, and I liked it. I had no idea that was your last pick.
Yeah, that was my list. I figured I needed another pick for because I only didn't get to watch a lot, and I had actually just watched Con Air not too long ago, so
I
was gonna
love
throw
the
it in there.
I love the beginning when he's like writing letters to his daughter.
Yeah,
And what's the daughter's name again?
Casey, I think.
Casey.
Yeah.
Dear Casey.
My
We-
daddy's coming home on my birthday. My daddy's getting released on my birthday.
What did he write her, like, because she was like, he's like we play outside and yada yada yada, and he's like we do spend time outside, but
What'd you turn
it's,
into an old man for?
Dear Casey.
I'm
is a good
sorry I
movie.
went back to prison. Now I gotta go on Con Air again. Con Air 2, they call this one, since Daddy crashed the first one. I know you're in college now, maybe even an adult, grown up with babies of your own. Do you have babies of your own?
I was like, Con Air
Does
2,
that make
Face
me a
Off 3.
grandpa?
I know you hate me probably because I got into a lot of trouble, but I still love you very much.
I did find that funny though in the movie, the way it starts with Con Air and the massive weight, and then like when he saves her, and she's like, Nick Cage, no way. She's like, I love that payoff in that movie. But that's that's why I wanted to go back through Con Air again, because Con Air is a really great movie. It's that was at the era when Nick Cage was really truly like that big action star from that time in the 90s. That just like it seemed like every movie he did churned out up until about 8mm was just like a really good movie. And then not that 8mm wasn't a bad movie, it just wasn't what I expected. So
it's not great.
Yeah, it's not great.
He also did Snake Eyes around that. He did a couple movies that kind of he this whole like Nicolas Cage making too many movies is not new. He did this at the same time back then. Like he had this period where he oversaturated himself a little bit.
It's true.
And that was a Brian De Palma film, right? Snake Eyes?
Was it Snake Eyes, Brian De Palma, or was it 8mm? I don't remember. But yeah, those are the two movies. When it got to those two movies, I was like, that was not what accustomed I was to of Nick Cage at that point in time. But then as it went on, it was Nick Cage. So, but yeah, that Con Air is great. But we've talked about that. So what do you got that supposedly we're going to want to talk a lot about tonight, Runner?
All right. So it's a 7-movie collection. This is arguably the best. And Tom would agree with me 100%. This is probably the best villain in cinema next to Darth Vader. He's probably better than Darth Vader, honestly, at this point.
Well, you're building it the fuck up. Okay.
Oh, okay.
He actually stole that quote from Roger Ebert.
Oh, I thought it was from you.
No, I stole that from Roger Ebert.
You know what's funny is like I was actually going to watch A New Nightmare and bring it on.
Or if it wasn't Roger Ebert, it was whoever said it that they put it on the poster at that time. I don't even remember. Who was it? Who was it who said that?
So I watched all the movies.
Oh, you watched all of them?
Could have been Leonard Maltin. I don't know.
So you had only ever seen the first one, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I've seen. Yeah, I've seen. For a while, I've seen the first 3 movies, and once I got this Blu-ray, I watched the rest of them.
Okay, so now that you've seen all of them, I want to know because a lot of us, like Tom and all, we all have our favorite, and it's traditionally one everybody picks. What was your favorite out of all 7?
What was my favorite out of all 7? It's
I want to know.
It's a mix between 1 and 3.
1 and what?
It's a mix between 1 and 3.
Yeah, okay. So he's pretty much on the same level as everybody else.
Yeah, I know. The third one is damn good.
It is really good. I love it. I was actually just thinking about watching a couple Nightmare on Elm Streets and bringing them on here in the next couple weeks myself because I have that same set. And I'm sure Tom does too because that's the only set you can get until hopefully Warner Brothers gives us a...
I do have the separate version of 1 as well, but yeah.
Yeah.
And
I bought it when it was a Best Buy exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? I bought this mainly because I'm like, if anything, if like a 4K release is coming, then it would probably have to be the first one at least. And I only bought this because I'm like, we're probably not gonna get the sequels anytime soon on 4K. At least to
probably not.
That's what I think. So that's why I got the collection.
Probably at least get the first one, like for the 40th anniversary or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. At least the first one, because the first one's got to come out on 4K. Because the first one to me would probably have to be I don't know. It's tough between 1 and 3, honestly.
I love it. Like I was just thinking about watching New Nightmare.
What about New Nightmare?
I love New Nightmare.
I did like New Nightmare. New Nightmare was cool. And here's the thing, like, you know how like New Nightmare you have Bob Shea in the movie?
Yeah, well, he's in a lot of them actually.
Well, I know he is. I know he makes no, but like he actually plays himself in New Nightmare.
They all do.
He plays like different characters and cameos in the other movies. Like I think didn't he play a teacher in the 3rd movie, or was he a doctor? No, I think he was. Shit.
I think he's a teacher in one of them. Bob Shea.
Robert Shea.
Oh, he's in the 4th one, I believe.
Was it?
And the 2nd one and the 6th one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fucking sure he was in the 3rd one too.
No, I don't think he's in the third
No,
one.
I don't think he's in. I've seen that one a bunch of
I'm
times.
trying to
so
think of
I
where he
don't
would have
think
been in the
is.
third one. Yeah, no, I remember him in 2.
Oh no,
4, and
wait, he was in the second one. I forgot.
yeah,
He
as
was
2, he's in the
second.
gay bar.
Mhm.
He's the guy. He's the bartender. He looks like Gene Simmons. And then
I could have sworn he was in 3.
no, he's the teacher in 4, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the teacher in 4.
And then in part 6, he's the ticket master.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's in 5. So like he skips every one basically.
I
But
thought
he
was in
directed a scene in the first movie. The stairs scene is his.
Nice. That's
Uh,
awesome.
You'd know that if you watch our interview with Robert Shea.
On Midnight's Edge, everybody.
I watched a little bit of that interview, actually, I think.
Dude, that is
Yeah.
my fucking crowning achievement right there. Because that was funny, because one of the first times I met Robert Meyer Burnett, he's like, motherfucker, how did you get a hold of Robert Shea? I'm like, I got my
That's
ways.
amazing.
He's like, I made the special features for the DVDs of Lord of the Rings. I couldn't get Robert Shea on the fucking phone.
That's great.
Well, Tom's
Said
the
hi
man,
to him.
so.
I know some people who know him. It was just a thing and boom, you know, like
It's because Tom's a man. He's got connections, people.
it
so.
just it's weird that it's a 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing. I tell you that right now, which is the funniest thing of all. I mean, I even have like, I mean, I've got like on my Rachel Talalay, I'm friends with on Facebook, though I've never really got a chance to talk to her really. Ricky Dean Logan is somebody I reached out to and talked to him a little bit. I've talked, I think, a little bit to what's his face from part 2. Of course, I interviewed Lisa Wilcox. Yeah, what's his name?
I don't know. That was that was one of my least favorites.
Mark Patton. Mark Patton.
Yeah, Mark.
And I wanted to get him for an interview, but he was really busy at that time with his documentary and stuff, so I wasn't able to get anything solid. But no, Lisa Wilcox was just such a treat. Such a laid back chick, you know, like really cool.
I'm jealous. Yeah. I would love to.
She was really sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. Runner, did you know anything about the second one before you watched it?
Know anything about what?
The second Nightmare on Elm Street. Before you watched it, did you know any of like the history behind it or anything before you watched it?
No.
So what did you?
Well, maybe like Tom might have talked about it since he's like a fan, but nothing comes in my head.
You didn't know about like all the gay stuff and everything?
No. None of that shit rings a bell.
I still can't believe Robert didn't get it. Like, motherfucker, you're out shopping for leather in a fucking kink store.
Yeah, there's BDSM scenes.
And the only reason I believe that he's like kind of totally not getting it is because he took his daughter along. So that's either really weird or you're completely oblivious to what you're doing. So I'm going to buy the latter because he is such a sweet old man that I think that's.
I think he probably really was just oblivious.
I think so. I really do, to be honest. Even though he grew up in the time and he was part of the hippie 60s and shit, I think that was something just kind of in that period, being who he was. I mean, it was a little past his era probably, to where that kind of a kinky psychosexual thing just was a little bit beyond him.
Yeah.
Jack Shoulder, I have a little bit harder time believing because he's right. He's another one I've talked to. And I have an interview eventually coming out. He, on the other hand, I can't believe he didn't have any inclination, but he was just trying to get the movie done. Right. And he wasn't even a huge fan of the original film, to be honest with you. And he's never kept that a secret or anything like that. And he cut the trailer for the first movie.
That's what I said. It's just like how some of those people. I think
he did anyway, if I'm not mistaken. If not, he used to cut trailers for New Line anyway.
Yeah. How some of the people didn't realize what they were making in that movie. I don't know, because it was obvious. It's like even Mark Patton had like ruined his life. So,
it is obviously about a guy coming out of the closet. You literally have the scene where he goes, "She wants to sleep with you and you're here with me."
Yeah.
I got something that just wants to come out of my body and you know, it's just like
yeah. It's just like,
it is so obvious, and some of the just the pantsing scene, the shower scene. I mean, clearly the coach is into the shit.
Yeah. uh, it's, I really do need to go back and rewatch it. I haven't watched it in years. That
It's
one.
one of those movies that it is kind of a fine wine. I'll give it that. It has aged so much better with time, especially once you know that the writer and the star and probably a few other people involved definitely knew what they were up to.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the body, I've got the brain. I mean, come on. I mean, this whole thing is so
heavy-handed that there's like
heavy,
people
heavy.
didn't even
Well,
realize
you can't
it.
even really deny it because, even Robert, I think, touched upon it a few times too. He's like, there's always a kind of a sexual part of Freddy. Regardless, there's a very huge, because he's the guy that knows what's in your underwear drawer, right? He knows how to get to you. He knows if you're gay, straight, bi, what have you.
Yeah, and he's like, he knew how this kid was probably gay, so he played on his fear of people finding out. So like he even like talks about how he used a claw and get in, like he was almost going to kiss the guy because that was like a fear. So yeah, really played, but how people don't
He almost
realize
made me kill my own sister.
that movie is just like crazy. But I'm interested to see. So, Runner, what was some of the other ones that you liked?
There's even deeper shit I could get into about that movie that you don't even want me to go into. You could even look at Freddy as like, okay, like he's almost like the representation of a bad gay relationship as opposed to the good gay relationship that he would have with Grady, or the plausible straight relationship but better friendship that he has with what's her face. Now the name just escaped me.
The chick.
And I've never been horrible at this. I usually am one of the best Freddy fucking trivia people alive. Why can't I remember her name?
No, see, I can't remember because I haven't seen the movie in years, so I can't remember her name. It's like literally the one I always skip. And it's like I said, like I want to say that it's not because of the gay stuff. It's just there was something about the movie that I just never really latched onto. But I've been meaning to go back through it because I've heard so many people say, like you've said, it's aged throughout the years. So I've been meaning
to me, it actually has Freddy's best makeup ever. Yeah, I love how the claw is a part of his hand.
Yeah.
It just looks so cool. Like there's just some cool aspects to the movie. He's got brown eyes.
Yeah.
You're still talking about the second one, right?
Yeah. He's got the great "You are all my children now." I love that scene. I've used that scene a bunch of times and stuff. So I love that scene.
I don't know. I've only seen the second one once, and it wasn't one of my favorites.
No, it's not. At first, it isn't. It's one of those movies that you definitely got. You kind of have fun with it later on. It's definitely like a. How do I explain it? It's got a cultness to it. Like it's like a double. Since Nightmare on Elm Street already had like a cultness to it, it has like a double kind of. So it almost doubles down on it in a weird way. It's
like this weird. It's so bad it's good, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
And it's so gay, It's weird, but it's fun. It's just like it's got this weird thing about it.
And I got a question, Greg. Isn't that one scene that traumatized you? Isn't that in the third one?
Yeah, that's in the third movie. I legitimately cannot watch that scene to this day.
Which one?
In part 3 with the marionette kid.
Is it the strings?
Why?
I don't know what it was when I saw that.
That is so bitching, man. That's
the thing is like it legitimately looks so real to me because I saw it probably when I was like 10.
That's one of the few things that made its way to the final script that was in the original.
Yeah, I seen it.
Even though it's a different version of it, but
it freaked me out. I mean, legitimately, when I watch the movie to this day, I close my eyes when that scene happens.
Yeah, because the original script, Freddy just leads the kid out into traffic like he's like when a kid walks a dad into. But then those guys made it into the puppet thing.
Yeah,
I can see why it would freak out younger people, like that like thinking about it a little more is a little crazy. But going to the other movies.
The little sucker things on her arm. Ooh, that's creepy.
Was it Nightmare on Elm Street? Yeah. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, pretty fun. The fifth one is pretty fun too. They're dumb, but they're fun.
See, everybody always calls part 3 the MTV Nightmare. I say, oh no, part 4 is the MTV Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it. Don't get me wrong. I do love part 4, but it is the most.
Yeah, I mean, like she does the whole like nunchuck thing, the dancing
Well, it's just
in the
the way it
mirror
was
and all that.
presented, the way it comes off. It feels very MTV. It's shot like a music video in a lot of ways. Rennie Harlan's first American film. He's shooting from the hip. They had half a script. I mean, it's like, and it shows, but it still works because it's a concept that is, it's got so much you can work with, right? 5 is again another kind of misstep in a way, and I don't think it's so much the.
Isn't part 5 directed by the same guy who did Predator 2?
I think so. Stephen Hopkins.
Yeah, Stephen Hopkins.
And part 5, they think that the problem is the story. I don't think it's the story so much as it is. I really don't. I can't put my finger on it. What it is about part 5 that just doesn't quite work. It was rushed. That's one thing that's wrong with it.
Yeah, usually when they're rushed into
rushed.
production like that. Yeah,
because 4 and 5 were rushed really fast after part 3. They took a break between 2 and 3. They took a year break to kind of reestablish everything. Because even though 2 was a huge hit in theaters, they knew that there was a bit of an issue with, like Wes Craven was going to possibly come back in and he didn't like what they did with it and so on. So they had this year of kind of trying to get Wes back into the fold, and that didn't work out the way they wanted to. And, 3 was the one though that took off like wildfire.
Yeah,
it was one of the biggest films. Yeah, it was the biggest film that New Line had ever had at that point, and because I'm sure it did. Did it do better than Texas Chainsaw? Because they did theatrical release on Texas Chainsaw, so I think it did better than Texas Chainsaw did in its initial run. So that would have been their most successful film at that point. And of course that led into part 4, which did even better, I believe. But 5 really tanked at the box office. It didn't lose money, but it made like a third or half of the money roughly of what 4 did. Because 4 did like 45 million and 5 did like 18 or 16. So that was a huge dump. It might even did only like 15. But it only cost 5 million to make, so it don't matter. Or 4 million, or whatever it was. So yeah. But then Freddy's Dead was another weird one.
Yeah.
I remember loving it at the time, but I know fans kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. That was the only Freddy movie I got to see in the theaters besides Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, same here.
Because New Nightmare was impossible to see in the theater. So I couldn't find the sumbitch.
No, I saw New Nightmare in theaters.
I didn't get to. They did not get it anywhere near me. And,
I saw Freddy's Dead and New Nightmare.
I didn't have a license yet, so.
Did they have like a limited release or something in certain theaters for New Nightmare?
Nah, just didn't get as wide as most. In the theater I had, they were just like a smaller they were like a smaller multiplex kind of thing. So they only had, I think, 5 or 6 screens. And when it came out, there must have been a bunch of other movies that were bigger that they just didn't bother carrying it. It was the end of the summer, so whatever the bigger summer movies, because I think it came out in August of 94, I want to say.
You might be right. But I think New Nightmare was just very underrated and definitely ahead of its time.
It was badly timed. They didn't really promote it correctly. It didn't have a lot of good promotion behind it at all. They did spend quite a bit of money on it though. Because I think the budget was like, what is the budget? I want to say it was close to $30 million.
$8 million, it says.
Oh, is it only $8 million?
Yeah, it said $8 million was the budget.
I thought they spent more than that. I don't know. Wow, I really fucked up on that one.
Yeah, it was released on October 14th, 1994.
Huh.
Made $19.8 million at the box office.
Yeah, see, it didn't do that well at the box office. Yeah. But
I loved it.
I do
my
love
top
New
3.
Nightmare.
Yeah. Part 1, 3, and New Nightmare are my top 3 Freddy. That's not the word I would put them in, but that's like my top 3 Freddy movies.
Yeah, I'm pretty much there with you.
I like the concept of Freddy's Dead.
I do too.
I don't know if 100% the execution. And I like the kids in that one.
Yeah, honestly, what kind of ruined it for me personally, and maybe this is other people's criticisms, is like Freddy, like kind of seeing his backstory, like him as a human and all that.
Yeah, that part didn't bother me. It's a stretch to believe that he had a daughter. and that his whole like vengeance story. That was
too.
where the one time adding to his, because Freddy had this rare thing, because normally when you add more to a character's backstory, it demystifies them a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Freddy's demystification didn't come through the revelation of his backstory. That just came from, Robert Englund playing him up as more of the talk show host Freddy.
Yeah.
Because the more we learned about Freddy's background, the more vile it made him.
Yeah,
right?
like when you find out that his mom was a nun who was
and she was raped,
attacked
and
by
he's the son of 100
maniacs.
maniacs, and
that makes you go, okay.
that makes it even worse.
Yeah, you can see how he's this vile creature.
See, that part is interesting, right?
Yeah,
but I mean, it's a really weird and hard to kind of. The thing with him and the kid. Just
and he had like a wife and a kid. I would
Yeah,
always
it
see
all
him more like a
part
single
with him-
guy, weird guy.
The part with him like having a family and all that, and like having a daughter, and then he kills his own wife type thing. It's like, really?
That's where I think people have a bigger problem with the movie, and that's at the time I didn't really question it because I was younger. I was still at that phase of like whatever they give me, I'm fine, because I was like, I don't know, 11 when that movie came out, 12, whatever it was, 91 it came out, wasn't it?
94. Or no.
New Nightmare was 94.
Yeah,
Freddy's
we're
Dead.
talking about Freddy's Dead. Let's see.
Because I had to have my cousin go with me to Freddy's Dead because
91.
Yeah, that's what I thought. 11 years old. So it was kind of at that time I didn't question it. It was just cool to see a Freddy movie, and it was like an event.
Yeah,
it was a big.
No,
maybe it was Freddy's Dead is the one I think they spent more money on. That's what I was thinking of, maybe.
Probably because it's like his final. It's the final nightmare. So.
Oh no, they only spent $5 million on that one.
Huh.
Oh, actually, they're lying about that. See, I got another one here that says 11
on the New Nightmare or on Freddy's Dead.
Freddy's Dead. So I think, yeah. See, but in box office, it only made 35, so it don't matter. Which was still pretty good, but it didn't do what they were hoping it would do. So,
yeah, it's a weak entry. Like 5 and 6 are weak entries, but I don't hate them. I can understand people's, how people hate them. There's stuff I can complain about in both movies, but I don't hate them. And but I enjoy the whole franchise as is. But like Snowdeb said, I don't like the remake. The remake is horrible.
I haven't seen the remake.
You don't see the remake.
I want to see how bad it is.
Well, here's the thing that bothers me about the remake. And I probably told this before, so I'll try and keep it short.
Okay.
I was obviously totally against it when I first heard about it, but then I said, "Oh, Earl Haley's going to be in it."
Yeah,
that's good casting.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
Casting.
I'm like, now you got me kind of intrigued because I know that was my first bit of resistance. Was if it's not Robert Englund, I don't give a fuck. Well, then it was like, okay, so you get into the movie and it starts off kind of rough, but then you get into this idea that maybe, just maybe, in this version, Freddy was innocent. So that adds a whole new layer to the character. But then it goes down this really stupid hole, and then you realize, oh, he was never innocent. It was just a waste of our fucking last 45 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And the ending is just stupid as fuck. And they just have moments to where they're like, remember this from Nightmare on Elm Street? Here's a line from Nightmare 4. Here's something you might remember. It's a lot of that kind of member-berry shit, and it's done poorly. Like the wall scene is done horrendously in this version. Like it looks as bad as the fucking Frighteners. Yeah, even the Frighteners does better. And that's 10 years or over 10 15 years older or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you can't beat like the elastic wall from the first movie. It just looked too good.
I mean, it has a kind of a strong opening, then it teeters for a bit, and then it kind of has some momentum going into the third act, and then when the third act hit, it just goes.
Yeah, it goes flat. I agree that
you can tell it feels like 3 different movies crammed together at some points.
Yeah, you tell there's a lot of rewrites, a lot of different scripts coming into that time, and I agree the opening of that movie is actually quite terrifying. Really, it's a good, pretty strong opening, and then it just like fizzles out real bad. Though the one thing I will give them credit for is I did like the micro naps. I did enjoy the micro naps, but that didn't really help save the movie.
Yes and no. There's something they could play with that because they kind of did something with that with kind of like Alice would do that with the daydreams.
Mm-hmm. So
that kind of like, that, okay, fine. Yeah, but it just,
Yeah,
It was just
exactly.
working against itself every step of the fucking way.
Exactly.
It's almost like you couldn't help but get in your own fucking way, could you? You know,
It's just, yeah, it's a bad movie. If you want to see it, Renner, but you probably won't like it at all.
I
Um,
I'm sure I won't.
I would love to see the originals here on 4K, and I would
I
love to
mean,
have an
even the
actual.
lines are horrible. Like they even have like, you know, the fresh meat line, of course, which is from
Mhm.
4. But then like the scene that made my buddy want to leave, which is funny because this is my friend that I think I've told you guys about, where he's the Jason fan and I'm the Freddy fan.
Yeah.
Right. And he was ready to leave during this, which I should have been the one. But I'm like, no, I want to see this shit through. Right. Like I got to do this. It's like a duty almost. And I had a free ticket. So at least I wasn't paying for it. I got the free ticket from when I bought Nightmare on Elm Street at Best Buy. If I remember right.
Yeah, 'cause I remember
So,
they used to do that. I got a free ticket for Freddy vs. Jason doing that.
Yeah. Or maybe it was when I bought Freddy versus, I can't remember which it was, but one of them I ended up buying and I got it. And so sitting through the movie and the part where he was like, I'm done, I'm walking. And I'm like, well, you leave, I'm watching the rest of the movie. You're gonna have to wait for me. He's like, well, I'll wait in the lobby. I'm like, well, it's up to you. But it's the dog scene.
Oh.
He's like, I didn't mean to hurt him. I was just petting him. He's like, that is fucking retarded. I am out. And I'm like, yeah, it's dumb, but just let's see how bad this gets, kind of thing. Like, you know, like,
yeah,
I finally
like
talked him into staying, but
thing.
he was done at that point. He's like, this is stupid. I'm like, yes, it is. But we have to see it through. You made me sit through Friday the 13th, motherfucker.
Yeah, we would sit through this piece of shit.
Because he kind of liked that. And I'm like, how could you like that shit? I said, now you know how I felt during Friday the 13th. And I don't even have the attachment you did to that.
Yeah, which is weird. I did kind of like the remake of Friday the 13th, but at the end of the day, it's not a good movie.
I was fine up until I hated that we got faked out that there was a whole fucking... That has the longest opening in movie history, I swear to fucking God. And then you get a whole nother false opening.
Yeah.
So you literally have 2 false openings basically before the movie actually fucking starts. and then when the movie finally starts, it's okay. Because you're kind of getting, okay, I can pick that out. That's they're kind of picking and choosing things from the films. You're okay, cool. Yeah. Well, then all of a sudden it's like, when the fuck does Jason take fucking prisoners? Yeah. And why did he move into the fucking house from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2? Exactly. Where they have the whole fucking underground goddamn, what the fuck is this shit? I'm like,
I think they were trying to play on the chick from part 2 where she pretends to be his mother.
They did, but it's like, I swear the director watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and misremembered it with Friday the 13th. I swear to God.
You know what? Who was the guy that directed that?
I don't know. I think it was the same guy who did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's what I was about to say. I think it was the same guy that did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
Because to me, that's where it went off the fucking rails. Because other than that, it's like any other Friday the 13th movie. It's just like basically, okay, you can almost shake off that opening bit as just they're retelling the audience, you know, what happened prior to this. Nothing. It's not really undoing anything. It's just, okay, now it's now instead of where we left off before. Jason Goes to Hell didn't happen. Okay, like, yeah, that's really all it had to say was like, maybe even Manhattan didn't happen. Whatever. It's just Jason back in his element. Go. You know,
that's all you really had to do.
That part I was fine with. You know, it was like, it was Jason. It didn't really fucking matter at that point. It's not, I love Kane Hodder, but it's not like Jason hasn't been played by more people than Kane Hodder has played the part. Yeah. So in that respect, I have no issue with that. And the guy who played Jason, fine, whatever. I didn't mind the look so much. I didn't like the whole shirt thing so much, but whatever. Like the open shirt thing was kind of weird. But then the moment he starts taking prisoners and shit, I'm like, this ain't fucking Jason. And how he got his mask is stupid in both versions. And it's just like, how hard was it to have a character like Shelley? Seriously. Like, really, like to pay homage to Shelley. How hard was it?
No, they need a stoner who was wanting to make out with a dummy. So
the fucking redneck guy was dumb. Like, that was so fucking stupid. That whole bit just drags the fuck on. And the whole
What?
weed shit and all, it's like you guys are really trying to make this into Texas Chainsaw Massacre somehow, aren't you? Because they're
Yeah,
really trying to make him like a hillbilly. They got the Hicks thing. It's like,
it's pretty much
this is fucking Jersey. This ain't the backwoods. What the fuck?
maybe he was trying to connect it to his remake of
Well,
Texas
what's
Chainsaw
weird is
because,
it actually is connected with fucking Transformers.
yes, yeah, with the blonde haired guy because like
Yeah,
in
it's the same character.
yeah, in his remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the reason they're driving is they're driving because they just found weed in a thing, a field. So it's like it almost feels like he was trying to connect, like this is where that field was that they stole the weed from in the present time. So it was yeah, it's weird.
It's a long way from Jersey to Texas. That's all I'm
Exactly,
saying.
that's true too. That's true. But weren't they coming from a show from New Jersey in that one?
I honestly don't remember. I
it
only
was like
saw that remake once.
yeah, I think it was. I don't remember. But anyways, the Nightmare on Elm Street runner, you were right. We would talk a lot about that. Those are probably my favorite.
I told you.
Favorite.
Where's Freddy's Nightmares on video?
That's what I want. They canceled that German Blu-ray because that company was weird.
To be fair, in the was it the 5th disc or whatever? It comes with the first 2 episodes of that series.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if it's first 2, but at least the first one, and then I think that's the second aired one, but I'm not sure that's the second actual episode.
Oh, it just says 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Freddy's Nightmare TV series in the back.
I was pissed they at least didn't put all the ones that were out on video before that. That was bullshit.
One day, hopefully one day, maybe with what
let's just say I've gotten a decent copy now. I mean, I'm still disappointed that they boasted they're all 1080p. It's like bullshit. They're still off of video.
yeah.
And you can tell they shot them on film. Why didn't they go back to the original film?
Exactly. Well, hopefully we'll get it. Maybe with the Warner Brothers 100 years, because they did say they will be releasing new TV shows.
That would be
Blu-ray
fucking
too,
sweet if we got like the ultimate Nightmare on Elm Street box set.
I would buy that.
That had everything in it, the entire series.
Even if it's just new Blu-ray scans.
Yeah,
I would
Blu-rays
buy
of the series, 4K of the movies. It'd be fucking sweet. New special features.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I'm not even that worried about special features because that documentary does a pretty good job.
Yeah, just buy that.
Covering everything you kind of need there.
Buy that.
What documentary?
Never Sleep Again.
Never Sleep Again.
Is it in this thing that I got?
No. It's a.
Is it a separate thing?
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Okay.
I think I've showed it on here before. Was he?
Yeah, you brought it on one time.
You probably have. You're more than
yeah, you look it up. They're not too
It's like
expensive.
a 5-hour documentary or 4-hour documentary about all the movies.
That's like you buy that and you buy
from the same guys who did Crystal Lake Memories.
Yeah, Crystal Lake Memories. Which a lot of that Crystal Lake Memory stuff is also repurposed onto the Shout Factory.
Well,
Blu-rays,
the Freddy versus Jason stuff, yeah.
Yeah. But
or you mean in the Friday the 13th collection?
Yeah, the Friday the 13th.
That I think you're right. Yeah.
A lot of the like even the book that they have in that comes from the same people that made the Camp Crystal Lake Memories. So yeah. But yeah, I would love a big Freddy box set to go along with that. It's long overdue. It's long overdue. The fact that we got all the Halloween movies, all the Friday the 13th movies, and you're getting them now on 4K, at least the first 3 or 4. And then we got all the Chuckies now, except for, the Bride, which I think we'll get Bride eventually.
Are we getting the other Friday the 13th movies on 4K?
Yeah, they got the first one on 4K, and I'm pretty sure part 2 is coming and part 3 is coming.
They've announced part 2, I think, or not. If they haven't announced,
I think they've announced part 2 already in a steelbook, but I'm sure we'll get part
up
3.
through 4 have been scanned in 4K, but after that they haven't.
Yeah, like I said, I'm sure you'll get the first 4 on 4K of the Friday the 13th. So
okay,
it's high time Freddy got his due. It's high time,
and I don't care about 3 because I'll always watch it in 3D anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Well, plus, like you said, what they did with the first one on 4K, they cut out the white transition scene.
And they fucked it up at the end, too.
Yeah. So I'd rather just stick with my Shout Factory Blu-rays of them.
Same. The set is so good.
The 4K does look decent, but yeah, it's... Unless you can find it dirt cheap, like I said that day. Then
yeah. All right, guys. Any final words here before I guess we close it down? All
Would
right.
you like to play a game?
Welcome to my nightmare pitch.
You forgot the power glove. Great graphics.
I still love that he says his favorite kill. Robert Englund says his favorite kill is that kid in that the ear Q-tip scene.
I was gonna say Freddy's Dead probably has some of the best kills in it for sure.
Robert Englund said the kill with the Q-tip
in the video game
is his all-time favorite kill because it shows it doesn't matter, because he said it doesn't matter how diverse you are, Freddy's going to kill you. So like if you're handicapped, he don't give a shit. He's going to kill you. So,
he'll use that against you. That's what I was saying
exactly.
earlier. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that one definitely, because like the Q-tip is probably my favorite death of all time.
Yeah.
My second favorite's probably the TV from 3, and then probably the video game scene from Freddy's Dead. So like 2 of my favorite deaths are from Freddy's Dead.
And so, not to say that the death with the marionette in part 3, which is actually my favorite kill.
Well, actually, you know what? You're gonna make me re-guess this now.
That's one of my favorite kills, but I can't watch the scene.
As if it's not my first, it's definitely in the top 5.
Yeah, it's in my top because I can't watch it because it legitimately scared the shit out of me, freaked me out. I thought it was real when I was a kid, and I think that's a testament to how good the scene actually is, that I still close my eyes because it still looks so real to me.
Face your fears, Greg.
Oh,
and then Nightmare 3 probably has some of the best ones otherwise. Yeah. Although Grady's death in 2 with Freddy jumping out of the coming out of the body and everything, that's pretty bitchin'.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And he cuts him through the door and shit. Even though that's pretty standard, it's still kind of intense. And then of course you got the original, Tina on the ceiling was pretty.
Oh awesome yeah, too. That's like all time top right there. Yeah. And then
eating him is also pretty classic.
I kind of like, even though it's not like the greatest, but I do like when they kill Heather's husband in A New Nightmare.
That's actually a pretty good one because there's a little callbacks in it, but at the same time,
him and stuff. Yeah, that was pretty good. That's a pretty good one.
Because like the liquid thing with like it's kind of like him coming through the sheets and stuff. Well, of course, there's a lot of callbacks in New Nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a great franchise. Aaron, I don't mind TV cuts. I think they're kind of fun to watch.
In fact, we're advocates that they should be special features almost standard.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy that a lot of, like, especially with Sony is giving you the TV cuts now. I wish they would give us more of them. They're fun to watch.
A lot of different versions of movies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny? Speaking of TV cuts, like on like finals week or whatever, I was like super bored and I had nothing to do, so I watched the TV cut of Real Genius on like on the Blu-ray, and I think I was working on like other stuff while I was like watching it at the same time. And I'm not someone who really gives a shit about special features personally, but I do like that they put them in for like other people because it's like a nostalgia thing. Like that's how they watched it before, and
well,
whatever.
In some cases you even get like a bunch of different scenes,
deleted scenes,
sometimes completely different. It kind of
it just I didn't notice much of a change other than it
not in that one. That's not one that has a lot of changes. I think that one's more on there for, like you said, the nostalgic value. And
the only thing I noticed was the only thing that kind of like annoyed me was like the part where he's like, oh, it's a brain stretcher instead of a was it?
But that's the fun of those.
I was gonna say that's the fun of them. Yeah. If it's not the deleted scenes or the alternate shit, then it's that kind of stuff.
But the whole thing about it being a penis stretcher works because it looks like it could be one.
Well, of course, but that's the humor we know. But it's just hilarious that they'd go to that extent. But then you have like, I was really depressed that they didn't put Beverly Hills Cops TV cut on the disc, because that movie is almost a completely different film, because it's almost all made up of alternate takes, because there was no fucking way in hell. So when they shot it, they made sure they shot safety shots where Eddie Murphy was not using the F word and S word.
Yeah.
see,
that is one. That needs one. Yeah.
And you can totally tell. You can absolutely tell, because he has different energy in some of the scenes. like in the strip tease scene, that all the strippers only have, they have bras on. They don't have any tops off or anything like that.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of the jokes are different or toned down. I mean, so like a good, God, at least 60% of the movie is alternate takes when they couldn't cover it up. And once in a while they would bleep and whatever. But like, when Eddie gets going, like even the whole super cop scene, I think is also different from my recollection. Cause like, yeah, the TV version's way different, than and not way different in the sense that it's a different movie, but it's just like, it is weird because it's the same movie, but it's all different takes. It's just weird to watch. And then Pulp Fiction's the other one I was sad that they didn't at least have the soundtrack for it. You don't need to have the movie itself because the movie's the same outside of shit cut down.
Yeah.
But the soundtrack is amazing because almost everybody came back, or they did manage to do the TV version when they did it, because almost everybody does their voice except for like 2 people. Which is hilarious because Samuel Jackson, some of the shit that come up for motherfucker is hilarious. He has like 3 or 4 different things he says. He's like Monkey Hubbard.
I love it. See, this is why
Mother
we
Hubbard, Monkey Puffer, I think, or something like that. Some other thing, Monkey something or other.
Yeah.
For all the times he says motherfucker. But like Bruce Willis is overdubbed and is very clearly not Bruce Willis. And I think Harvey Keitel is the other one.
see, but like that example right there, like that's funny. Like that's something I'd watch. You know what I mean?
But see, that's something all they'd had to done is just throw it on as an extra soundtrack. You wouldn't even have had to have the actual TV cut, because otherwise, like I said, they don't have anything else to cut out other than, I think there's just a little bits of violence. Like and probably the most butchered scene would be the Butch and Marcellus scene with the Gimp and all that shit. I think that was the most cut down scene, if I remember right. But they came out at a time where they were getting away with a lot of violence on TV. It was just the swearing and nudity, and there ain't no nudity in the movie, so.
It's true. But I'm a big proponent of TV cuts as a special feature. I think they need more of them. We need more of them. And I also, like I've said multiple times myself, I believe that's where some of the Mandela effect for movies come in, because I think a lot of us saw the TV cuts before we actually saw the theatrical cuts, and that's why we don't remember certain things. And it's weird when we see the theatrical cut. But I'm definitely down for more TV cuts. But with all that being said, thank you all for watching, everybody out there and everybody in the chat. Good night, Irene. Good night. Those 3 men and the babies all of a sudden. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Well, it's time to go. Aren't they still remaking that with like Zac Efron and shit?
Are they?
I think so.
If they remake that with Zac Efron, they better do it after he does the movie he's doing now, because he'd fucking kill everybody in that movie.
Oh, that wrestling thing?
Yeah, he's playing the Von Erich wrestler. So he's like jacked to the rim.
I can't remember who's supposed to be in it. Yeah, they announced that Disney was making a remake of it.
I remember seeing photos of that, like getting out of his trailer or whatever, and I'm like, Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
that dude got fucking.
I find it funny because I know wrestling, because a lot of us grew up on the wrestling. The Von Erichs were like almost 7 foot tall a piece. Zac Efron's not even 6 foot, so how he's playing one of the Von Erichs, I don't know, but he jacked up.
This is funny because this is about. I mean, it's still obviously in production because it's been updated 2021, but this is all that's on there. They've got the logo thing here, and all they have otherwise is that Zac Efron's in it. Well, of course, they have like a few other things here, but I mean, like. Other than that, that's it. They don't even say who he plays. They just say Zac Efron's in it.
Oh, it's going to be another shit show once they get it made. But thank you guys, everybody in the chat, Runner, Tom. Appreciate y'all for hanging with us. Once again, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you guys next week. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
How you doing?
Steve Gutenberg's a god.
Bitches leave.